Hello, hello. We are finally here with the Hellbreaker sequence.
Raisins.
Yep. Connor blames raisins. We all blame Connor, and then we move on.
But not in that order.
Okay, cool. So, what is the Hellbreaker sequence, you may ask? It is a new tabletop role playing game campaign about the apocalypse, about rebuilding after the apocalypse. So we are not playing our own world.
Is it about
This is
rebuilding?
it is, yeah.
I don't
Yeah,
know that
that's
we're
the
going to
whole
do
point of
much
the game.
rebuilding here, but well, that's okay. Sorry, go ahead.
Well, so I mean the subtitle of the game is building a new world in the
Oh,
ruins of the future.
all right, I see. So the game
I'm
is
not
about rebuilding. Our game
I'm
probably
not
won't be.
I'm not necessarily saying that we will be
Okay,
rebuilding.
okay. I just
So
wanted
that's
to
what
clarify.
technically the game's supposed to be about.
Right.
So there's that.
Okay.
But we are using a lot of playbooks from Endgame, which is like,
Yeah. The
what if
document.
the apocalypse got worse instead of getting better? So there'd be a mix, I think, of both. Everything gets really bad and everything is
Yep.
maybe hopeful. So I'm excited about it. We're doing a secondary world. So this is a world that is not Earth, that has been subject to an apocalypse. The name of this world, by the way, I named it, is Bastamen.
Nice.
And I posted it in chat there for y'all. Um, and This world suffered an apocalypse. And if you've watched any of the Zero Session episodes we've done, we made the factions and the characters and all that stuff, and kind of figured out what the apocalypse was, what happened. And the general consensus of the apocalypse is that the
It's my fault.
Perihelions, yeah, the Perihelions, the faction that David is playing, caused the apocalypse through basically abusing terraforming technology. So they tried to make the world into a paradise, mainly to like a paradise for them, is the idea, but that everything went horribly wrong and they made the world a wasteland instead. So, um, we're not gonna like jump right into a scene. There's a few housekeeping things that I want to do before we jump into this thing. Also, Jared and Josh aren't here tonight because I mean the whole point of this campaign was to do it to be able to do something that people could jump in and out of, and we wouldn't need everybody there at the same time. The minimum player count we'll do for this campaign is 3. So there'll be 3 of us, 3 of the players. I don't count as a player for this count. Um, to actually do the game, but we have 3, so we're gonna play. We're gonna start. Um, and What was I gonna say? We'll do some housekeeping here and get started. So one of the first things I need to know about this game is we need to come up with some names for. That is
Connor,
so loud.
I think you're
Oh.
that you're clicking. It's super loud.
I thought you were scatting on your if that's the word for it, right? Or no, that's you do that with your mouth. I don't know, whatever it's called when you tap out rhythm with your hands. I don't know.
I don't
know what
know
you're
what's
trying to say.
happening.
Never mind. I thought you were tapping on your keyboard to music. Then I realized you were typing. It was just very rhythmic.
It was.
Yeah, I was playing a song.
First thing I
Where'd
need
you
to
guys
know.
go?
Oh, did it freeze again?
No, you're good.
Oh.
You're good.
Okay.
Zoom is just being really funky, but it's okay. I'll hopefully get back to what? Ignore me.
Yeah, so I think Zoom makes your camera freeze when you go out of Zoom. So that is technically a thing that happens.
Oh.
If you wanted to put Zoom on your phone and then just do Roll20 on the laptop, you could do that too.
If you minimize the Zoom chat, doesn't it? Still.
That's what I'm trying to do,
Well,
and
so
I
that's the
can't
issue.
do it.
It doesn't do it on because the laptop functions on apps and not programs.
Oh.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Is it Windows 8?
It's and it's like Android. It's like
Oh right,
Google
you said it was like a okay.
Yeah,
yeah
Google
yeah.
Pixelbook.
Right. Sorry, never mind. The Hellbreaker sequence, right? Stuff.
The first thing I need to do for housekeeping is Carly. We need to come up with a name for the presents. What is the name that that your
gosh.
angels call God?
That's a lot of pressure. Wow.
Yep.
Name God, no pressure. There you go.
Oh my goodness.
I mean, the easy answer is that they
Do you
don't.
have anything
name
else
them,
you could talk
right?
about in the meantime?
Like,
Yeah, sure. Yeah, you can think
that's
about
fine
that.
too.
The other thing that I needed to know is but I guess maybe we won't name this. The other thing I needed to know was like, what's the name of the name of well, I've been calling it the music. But basically whatever the weird, like the music of the spheres thing that's going on with Josh's people and the recollection, whatever the weird music is that they all hear. I've just been calling it the music, and we can just continue calling it that for now if we want to, because I feel like that might be a Josh question.
Yeah, I also don't quite remember that as specifically as a thing.
Basically, remember like the what's it called? The new harmony hears like this music that exists beyond normal perception
Right.
that led them to the eldritch beings known as the Tannerin.
Okay.
But we can keep calling it the music for now because the new harmony probably has a particular name for them, but maybe everybody else just calls it the music if they're speaking about it.
Right.
But anyway, yeah. So that was just a couple of notes that I had. So yeah, Carly, think about what you might want to call God.
Such a weird.
Yeah. I know, yeah.
Right.
Whatever name the angels in your robot angels particularly call God.
Yeah. I mean, I'm literally thinking just the Latin term for our Father, because I know how to say that.
Sure.
Well, yeah, you just said it. The Latin word for our Father.
I mean, it's
Wow,
Pater
Chad.
Noster.
Wow.
I love Jared's character sheet. His is the best.
I know, yeah. It's like written in crayon.
Yeah, exactly. So
Yeah,
I just remembered that we all have like the worst names to pronounce ever.
I know,
Our
right?
hell isn't that bad.
Yeah, it's true. I can't even read Josh's name. It's literally Greek.
Episkiadzos.
Literally Greek. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Literally a Fenrir?
Close enough. Yeah.
Let's see here. So what did you decide the name was? Pater Noster? Okay, so I mean, just like our Father.
Yeah.
Yeah. Either of those terms work. Let's see. Okay, the only other thing I wanted to do for like faction kind of like housekeeping is I wanted to run through your guys' needs and surpluses and how the game specifically spells out like what it means to have surpluses and needs for these, because they're listed as resources and it says like what does it actually mean for your faction to have a need in this or a surplus in this. So
Right.
I'm just going to run through those just to give us a feel of what each of these factions is actually kind of going through.
Should we introduce our factions as we're doing that, or
yeah.
okay.
Connor, do you want to introduce the recollection if you remember what they're even about?
Yeah.
If you can recall. Hey, yeah. Get that low hanging fruit.
Yeah.
Well, they are basically, well, they're humans, but they're really weird. They sell memories. Yeah.
I was honestly curious how much you would remember of that.
Well, hold up. Give me a sec. I got this. They're really they're like good at sabotaging and stuff like that, and their army kind of sucks, but they're very good with like persuasion and swaying people. So yeah, that's all I
They
got.
all wear masks. It's like a
Oh,
weird
okay.
kind of thing about them.
I forgot about that. Yeah.
Gotta be prepared for the coronavirus.
Yeah.
Not those kind of masks, like alabaster masks.
Yeah.
Like
I know.
Yeah.
I had to.
well, technically, there's a whole bunch of different kinds of masks. I'm sure there's lots of different people. Like Connor's character wears a gas mask, so there's that.
Just thinking ahead.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, the recollection is also they're artists. They barter in music and weaving and decoration and various artistic endeavors. And
they can. Yeah, they like can enchant things with weaving. So they like weave stuff, and they can. Yeah, I have a pair of socks.
Yep.
You just have a pair of socks.
Oh, we'll get to what the pair of socks does. We talked about this yesterday. We'll get to what the pair of socks
Are they
does.
socks with spider climbing?
Even better. But yeah, so that's the recollection. And the recollection, right now, their surpluses are... they have artisans and culture for their surpluses. So what that means, first, having a surplus in artisans means that skilled crafters, artists, and performers fill your family's holdings with well-made, beautiful things. For each part of your gear, you can name who crafted it and their particular stylistic quirks. So anytime you want to, Connor, you can just make a statement about any of the stuff that your characters have. Then like, oh yeah, it's like specifically artistic in some way, and this artist made it, and like that sort of thing. A lot of the items that the recollection has are just like, even if they're supposed to be utilitarian, they're also utilitarian. They're also beautiful. Also, you have a surplus of culture. So you have a very defined generational cultural identity that pretty much your whole family buys into. So you have like specific traditions and rituals and festivals and whatever else, right? Like your family all kind of like has a defined culture. You have needs of barter goods, prestige, and luxury. So what it means to have a need in barter goods, when you need to trade for something, it costs you severely every time. Anything your family doesn't produce themselves must be carefully rationed and budgeted for. So whenever you're seeking to trade with another family, you're going to have a hard time of it because you don't really have a whole lot to trade with. You also have a need for prestige. Your family are pariahs, disdained, or beneath others' notice. Your citizens get more done when they hide their affiliation, and though others will respect bargains and obligations, they'll do so grudgingly. So for some reason, right now, the recollection has a bad name for themselves. They also need luxury. Life is harsh and uncomfortable. Tempers are frayed, stress is high, and it's difficult to imagine that tomorrow will be any better than yesterday. So even though they make beautiful things, they're on the knife's edge of like, everything's uncomfortable. There's no really luxury to be had. Everything's just kind of like still in survival mode for a lot of them.
There's lots of moody art coming out of them.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Yeah.
So keep that in mind. And here I'll just post these in chat as we go.
I was hoping for that. I was like, where is this all written?
Just so you can actually have something to reference. And then David, you're playing the Perihelions. Who are the Perihelions?
Yeah, the Perihelions are people who live on a synthetic sun that floats in the atmosphere, and it is a garden paradise on the surface of the synthetic sun. And so, a while ago, before the apocalypse, the Perihelions tried to use the just said the word earlier, terraforming equipment that made the sun that way, or the fake sun that way, on the rest of the planet, and royally screwed it up. So definitely wasn't our fault, but now the world sucks. And but I mean, our house is still nice, so the sun is still nice. So that's really all that matters. And they are essentially immortal, More in that they can die, but they like stick around as weird like vestiges of themselves. And they are clothed in solid light clothing and have a weird pantheon type thing where only the best of them live on the surface of the sun and the rest of them live on like a synthetic island beneath the sun. And once they prove themselves worthy, they ascend to the what did I call this? Azimuth is the name of the synthetic sun. And then they become proper perihelions. I think that's most of the thing. We have jewelry that makes it so that our voices can like the sound waves that they scream on fire, so we yell and people burn up. And that's the thing. And I guess we also have like fighter planes that look like chariots, sort of. Not really. They call them chariots, but they definitely don't look like that.
Yeah. Cool. So the perihelions have surpluses of leadership and rare materials. So what that means is the perihelions, their surplus of leadership means that however your family is governed. So what specifically is your family's governance again?
I think that was the like demanding voices in their head. That's right. I forgot there's like some kind of weird psychic projection,
psychic ancestors
thing going on here. Yeah, I'm trying to remember why. Because I feel like there's a reason they can do that, and I can't remember what it is. But yeah, basically, the people on Azimuth psychically communicate with the people not on Azimuth to tell them what to do. I'm gonna have to figure out how that works. I don't remember why they can do that, because I don't think they can like telepathically talk to anybody else.
So the surplus of leadership, though, means that however your family is governed, it's working well. They may have a charismatic leader who commands loyalty, a smooth and efficient bureaucracy, or a culture of respect and understanding. So however that works, it works well. Your leadership runs smoothly. People listen. You also have a surplus of rare materials. Whatever exotic resource your family needs, you have some of it in stock. A nugget of uranium, memory restoring crystals, unbreakable adamantium, whatever you need. So whatever rare materials you need to make your stuff, you have it.
Who? What?
It doesn't mean that they actually have all of those things. It just means like whatever rare materials they might need to do their special things, they have it. Perihelions also have a need for engineering. Everything you build is in constant need of repairs and patch jobs at best, and that's if you're able to work out how to fix it. Making something long-lasting is close to impossible. So it sounds like all of their technology is on the verge of breaking down because they don't have engineers who know how to fix anything.
Okay. I mean, that makes sense. We don't understand any of the stuff that we own.
Exactly, yeah. You also need a progress. Your family has little knowledge of how to exploit the laws of physics, chemistry, or biology. Strange machinery of the before is best used for shelter from the elements, and a sturdy spear serve you better than a mysterious bleeping pistol.
So it's saying that we're like...
You don't actually understand any of the technology that you use. Specifically for your current context, like any of the technology that you guys have, you don't understand.
Right. I mean, it basically tells us that in our book anyways. So it makes sense.
But it has a mechanical, thing here. So basically, you know, when one of your characters goes up to some sort of strange technology, they're gonna not have no clue how to work it.
Right. Yeah.
They don't have a background in those things.
We have to do the sacred unguences so that the machine spirits aren't angry with us.
Right, exactly. That's probably how you view most of the technology you have is like it's all mystical.
We're just a bunch of tech priests. It's fine.
Yeah.
Warhammer 40K. Yeah.
Right. You also need defenses.
Yeah.
Your family's holdings are unprotected. Saboteurs and raiders could take your stuff without much effort. Your vehicles are constantly being worn down by the elements and so on.
Okay.
But luckily, I do think that you guys had made a deal with the
that's
the
right.
Last Watch, Jared's group, and they're technically providing your defenses right now. So that'll be something we'll have to work out in the fiction specifically, and maybe actually get that taken off. But that technically is still a vulnerability of yours. Right. So.
Also, technically, the sun thing has its own defenses, so I assume that means more like the island where the people live is undefended.
Probably, yeah.
Also, I remembered why. So the answer to how are you defended in our gear is the nanoswarm bodies, and one of the tags for that is comms. So our bodies communicate with each other. So that's why we can psychically talk to people who are like us.
Cool.
I knew there was a reason. But yes, okay, yep, those are the
Awesome.
things.
Last but certainly not least, we have
that's a huge spider.
What?
There's a spider on my wall.
Oh, I thought you said sweater, and I was really confused.
It's like mine.
Yeah, sweater.
Then we have the Forgotten Heralds.
Yes.
Carly's
Forgotten
people. Who are the Forgotten Heralds?
Are robotic angel messengers that wear colorful, flowy robes.
I mean, yeah, that's all you need to know. So the Forgotten Heralds have a surplus of justice. Everyone who's done you wrong has been brought to task and your family is at peace. Others now seek you out to advocate for them. So basically, whether or not someone's wronged you in the past, your family's taking care of it. There's no outstanding like injustices that you guys haven't taken care of. And people seek you out when they have injustices done to them because they're like, oh yeah, you took care of that sort of thing. You also have a surplus of leadership. So however your family is governed is working well. So how is your family led again?
How do I find that out?
It's in your traditions on your family playbook.
Oh, I see.
It looks like a council
guided by an absolute ethical imperative.
Yeah, so the council and the absolute ethical imperative are working well.
Cool.
Everyone does what they're told. Everybody listens.
By what
So
yeah.
the moral of the story is moral totalitarianism and psychic control are the way to go.
Yeah.
Work.
Apparently
You guys didn't already know that?
And then you have needs of prestige. Your family are pariahs, disdained, or beneath others' notice. Your citizens get more done when they hide their affiliation, and though others will respect bargains and obligations, they'll do so grudgingly. I forgot to post the perihelions stuff.
That's okay. I paraphrased them in my notes.
Okay, sounds good.
So.
I'll post them anyway. But
okay.
Yeah. So the Forgotten Heralds are also kind of pariahs. People don't really like them. They're kind of unknowns, which makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, Athena. You also have a need for safety. It feels like every time you blink, a new crisis assaults your family. Between health, safety, shelter, and innumerable other concerns, there's too many fires to put them all out, and there's no way you can keep this up without something going very wrong.
Rust
so it seems like
those concerns.
Say that again.
Rust is one of those concerns.
Nice. Cool. And then luxury. You also have a need for luxury. Life is harsh and uncomfortable. Tempers are frayed. Stress is high, and it's difficult to imagine that tomorrow will be any better than yesterday. Yep. So you're a bunch of rugged loners who are on the edge of collapse.
That's the second time we've heard tomorrow won't be any better than today. So I think my point stands. Not going to get any better.
But the whole point of the game is you get more surpluses and you get rid of your needs.
Is that really how it goes?
Yeah.
I know that's what you're supposed to try to do. I don't know if that's how it goes. There's a reason you start with more needs than surpluses. That's all I'm saying.
That's true. You do have a bit of a thing right now going on. With all that stuff. Okay, I'm going to post that in chat. Awesome. So, where we're going to go ahead and start with this is, so we see this desert landscape. Blasted wasteland, desert landscape. There's ruins, kind of like ruins in the distance, right? Everything's kind of dusty. And real quick, before I continue describing this, I'm just going to let this dog out of my room because he's going to start whining at me.
I definitely thought that was like a desert wind sound effects being played, but it was not.
It was me. See, I'm adding.
Connor. That sounded pretty good.
I was wondering why it was cutting in and out so much for an audio effect.
Because I had to breathe.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Real quick, can we switch to the character sheets, or are we using these?
Yeah.
Actions still. Okay. Thanks. Thank you.
Yeah. So we see this desert wasteland, and we see there's not really any like anything going on the screen right now. It's just basically kind of this like the desert wasteland. Maybe we see like a weird creature or two, some sort of like kind of carapace skinned bug alien thing, kind of like clomping through the sand, and then it like digs into the sand somewhere, to like get away from particularly harsh like gust as it kind of rips through this wasteland. Ow.
Wow, that hurt my ears.
Yeah.
Oh, did it really? Oh, I'm really sorry.
It's okay. And then we see on the screen a quote, and it says, I want to make sure I get it right, so I'm gonna find this briefly. No, stop.
I stopped. I did already.
We see on the screen, this it starts to like fade in from left to right. Hell is empty, and all the devils are here. William Shakespeare. And then, with a particular strong gust of wind again, like a dust storm, the text blows away. Yeah. And I think we see, we're in this desert wasteland, and we see a kind of like a black crack in the ground. It doesn't like suddenly appear, but like as we're like kind of like cutting to somewhere else in the wasteland, we see this just like black crack in the surface of the ground. And it's almost like the blackness is glowing. It's kind of like drawing light into itself and then using it to just kind of like pulsate. And as we kind of like get closer to the crack, we just see kind of like a couple of like kind of weird blobbish tentacle things, right? So it's like kind of like a blob of sandy colored flesh that has like various like kind of tentacles poking out from it. And they're kind of like, I don't know, feeding on whatever this black crack is. They're kind of like right up to the edge of it, and they're kind of like sticking their tentacles in and kind of like waving them around. We're just kind of unclear what they're doing exactly. And we just get a clear shot on like the black ravine that is this thing in the kind of like the rocky wasteland. And as we kind of get closer, a kind of like a string cluster kind of rises in the soundtrack, and right as it reaches its crescendo, we see two like purple green eyes just open up in the blackness, and then we cut. And then it says, The Hellbreaker Sequence, Episode 1. And where we start depends on you guys. So the people we have today are Connor, David, and Carly. And I think, I posited kind of two ideas when I was kind of thinking through the places we could start with this based on the characters we have. The first one would be to start with some New Harmony stuff with Josh. But he's not here, so I think probably the second option might be better. And I'm going to posit this, and then we can discard it if we want to and do something else. But based on your guys' like current character drama things that we just established last time, and your needs and surpluses, all that stuff going on, one thing we might want to do is start with Harahel and Isret, Connor and Carly's characters,
Right.
and have them basically be kind of like returning from, maybe not returning in the immediately after Harahel like saved Isret from the dark place. But I think what's been happening is Isret has been staying with the Forgotten Heralds for a little while, like kind of recovering her strength after the ordeal of like being in this like dark dimension. And so you've had some time, Isret, to like, talk to your new pet and kind of get acquainted with him and stuff. But I think this might be the first time you actually are returning to the recollection, to your family, to the people like you like lived with most of your life, and whether or not Isret actually has like any people that she considers family. Obviously her parents, she doesn't know what happened to her parents, but maybe someone who she considers her adopted parents or just friends or something like that. We could start there, and that's kind of like one place we could start. But basically the idea of like Legacy Life Among the Ruins, the game we're playing, right, is We'll start with a zoomed in scene. We won't start with any like mega faction stuff. We'll start with a character thing and then zoom out and see the kind of like fallout from whatever that thing is and do faction stuff. But basically, it's just kind of like what your characters in the immediate are interested in doing. And again, for the sake of their faction, like the whole point of these characters is that they're working for their faction. Ultimately, they want to help their faction in some way, shape, or form, and so they'll seek out things in the map, like possible to get like surpluses or erase needs or something like that. But we could just start with something kind of in media res, kind of slice of life, just to get a feel for the characters if we wanted to, and then kind of see if something develops naturally. But my idea was start with Iseret and Harahel, and then David, if you could think of a reason that Baruz would be around, or you could make a quick character that would make more sense.
I was just thinking about it, and this guy's supposed to be embedded in the New Harmony, so I can't
and that's
imagine
why I assumed
why. And also, yeah, like he would be. Yeah, we need Josh's input on a lot of stuff involving him. Also, just real quick, I think my sway is supposed to be +3 because of another faction.
That's what I was wondering. Yeah, I actually was wondering that.
Yeah, so I just let me. But I guess I could make a quick character.
They're really, really quick to make, as their name implies. But real quick, are we fine with that as a starting place? Kind of start with Iseret rejoining her family and kind of finding out what's been happening with them, and what will probably happen, Connor, is they'll be like, what happened to you? They'll probably ask you about your memories. They might hook you up to machines. Like, there might be something that happens there. Does that make sense?
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, yep.
Because right now it seems like mainly because right now it seems like Iseret is kind of disconnected from her family, and this might make more sense to kind of get her back into, okay, like what is her relationship to her? Because you're an outsider, right? Like, but what is your relationship to your faction? Who do you know? Those sorts of things. I've made NPCs for every person's character. The game, as a GM, recommends that you make one NPC that has an an opposite role to whatever role you guys picked, and so we'll establish, as we meet those people, I'll establish that you do know this person. That will be one person that you for sure know, and we can figure out how you know them. But you can make up stuff as well. But is that a fine place to start then?
Yeah, I just feel bad for David having to make a new character, but
that's what the game is for, also, right? Like that's why they have quick characters there, because if there isn't a reason for the character to be there, then that's then it's fine.
Yeah.
And also technically how it works is every time you zoom out again from a character thing, whoever wasn't involved, any main characters that weren't involved in whatever scene you just did, get a special bonus thing. Like they've been doing something during that time. So it's not like Baruz will just be doing nothing.
We'll be doing probably a lot of quick characters over the course of the game. So it's not a big deal.
Okay.
Okay. So David, I have several like spaces for quick characters on the side, on the right side of the character sheets. So do you want to just maybe use the top right one?
Sure.
Start us off.
The only thing is I don't have access to the information for the factions, so I won't know what kind of inherent things I get.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we can go back to the family playbooks if we need to look at that. So which faction do you want to belong to? You could technically belong to the Recollection or the Heralds. It might make more sense to be from the Recollection.
Yeah, that's sort of what I figured.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, if you're fine with that,
I figured I'd be whoever it was that is interrogating him about her, about what she saw and stuff. But do you want me to? I don't know what the texts sizes and all this for the box, so should I just crayon draw on this, or
here I can just do it for you
okay, that's fine.
We can just go through it together. So first, right, split +1 0 0 -1 between your stats and add your family bonus to 1. You get to do lore or sway if you're in the Recollection.
Okay. I don't know what stats are good, so I'll just do. It says sorry, so many tabs here. So I will have +1 to force probably.
Okay.
And I'm sorry, you said lore was one of the.
Lore and sway are the 2 that you get to possibly add a +1 to.
Okay, then I'll probably put it in sway, and then the 0 in lore, and a 0 in. Oh wait. Oh, I see. Yeah, no, that's why. Okay, and then the -1 I will put in to. I guess it would be
Steel.
steel. Yeah, it would be -1.
Okay. So +1 force, 0 lore.
1 sway and -1 steel. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So then you choose how you're related to the faction's main character, which is Connor. Yeah. How are you related to them? Sibling, child, cousin, aunt, rival, protege, or peer?
I kind of figured it would
You
be.
should be my protege.
What?
I think I'm 11.
How? Yeah, I was gonna say how old actually is.
I thought you were the protege.
No.
Which was kind of what I was gonna say. I think I was figuring I'd be some kind of overseer, like of either like an inquisitor style thing of just in general, like when stuff happens, I come to find out what's going on, or specifically of like the troublesome kids kind of overseer. Either way.
Yeah. Maybe what if you were the kind of like overseer of whatever orphanage she was
It's
part
kind
of.
I was thinking of.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
whatever like barracks of orphans they were given or whatever.
Right. Yeah.
I don't mean how does the recollection do orphan children? I guess that's up to Connor to decide. But what do you think, Connor? Does that make sense for that you were part of like some sort of orphanage?
Yeah. I can't think of another
group of orphan children at least.
And I get the impression if like you would come back from this and immediately be under the knife for questioning, basically. Like I imagine it's a pretty like, and especially because your society is so enclosed in itself, right? That it would be pretty aggressive about that kind of thing.
Sure. Yeah. So overseer, I guess, is your relation to him.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna write that next to the relationship. Then looks.
Let's see.
Peyton wrote orphan cult.
Yep.
Yeah, like we won't have enough cults in this game.
Yeah. Let's do concealed. I don't think you can tell what gender they are because they wear like a mask.
Oh yeah, they have the mask. Yeah.
I mean, I like to do like covered face for this. I think.
Sure.
Maybe it has enough room for you to see their eyes, so they're squinting, and I think they have. Which one's more cliche, bony or heavy set? I feel like every time I think of like a.
What did you say for eyes? You said you can't really see their
squinting.
eyes.
I said I figured there was holes for eyes or something.
Yeah.
And then I'm trying to think of like mean.
I mean, probably bony.
Children are always bony, so I'm gonna go with heavy set instead because.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't want to do the thing that immediately jumps to mind.
Yeah.
And
okay,
then...
cool. I think they use what Egyptian naming schemes. Connor is what you chose.
Yeah, Easter egg.
I had a feeling that David's like the easiest person to do a quick character because you're the best at making characters just off the spot.
Well, he makes characters as a hobby.
Yeah, true.
He doesn't play RPGs as a hobby. He just makes characters for RPGs as a hobby.
I buy books for RPGs I'll never play and make characters I'll never use, and I stop. Jeez, I don't know.
You think he's joking, but it's true.
Let's see. I'm trying to find his name here.
And maybe he has like the title overseer, so like overseer whatever.
Yeah. Let's do. Wait, that's Swahili. What? Oh no, never mind. Okay, Omari. Omari.
Yeah, overseer Omari.
It had a definition in Swahili, but then also a definition in Egyptian. So I was like, wait, I looked up Egyptian names. I dare you. Okay.
Okay, cool. Choose a roll move.
Oh, right. Okay. When you train a group for a few days, hold 3. They do what you train them for. I feel like that's probably.
Yeah, you're probably leader.
I think that's probably it. Yeah, leader.
Okay, and then you get 1 inherited move. So for the family, for recollection.
Yeah.
I'll just drag you over.
Yeah.
To the family playbooks, over here, from those 4 or 5, I guess.
These are so ridiculous. Okay.
Yep.
I'm thinking either starving artist because it's random, or porcelain black because he wears a mask or they wear a mask and you can't tell what gender they are. But I just now realized I'm gonna have to refer to them as they the whole time. Now I hate myself. I don't go bad at doing that. Let's see. I'm gonna do starving artist because I think it's funnier. As long as you have a supply of drugs, you no longer need to eat or sleep.
Wow.
I think that porcelain black makes him too cool. So, yeah.
Okay. Went ahead and added that to the character. And
of course, because it's the recollection, the drugs are all like weird memories and not like
right, yeah.
plants.
Yeah. And then as a recollection person, you get these options for gear. You get.
Could you pull me back to the character sheet side? Sorry, I'm still looking at the factions for the map. Or do we need to be looking at the faction still?
Yeah, the faction. It's like.
Oh, right, assets. Factions have gear. I forgot about that. Okay, sorry.
Yeah, and you can choose any of those 3 things that are marked there if you want to, but you don't have to.
And you also can name whoever made the gear and.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Okay. I'm not gonna do that because that'll probably take too much work.
You'll obviously get a mask.
Right. No,
what
I
does your
didn't do
mask
that
look
either,
like
but...
first?
Nice.
What does your mask look like?
Let me look at the. They're all pretty okay. I think it's like round and like larger than his face. But it like still curves like it's for a face, but it's just much larger than his head.
Cool.
Yeah, and it probably has like, again, cut out. They're just big enough for his squinty eyes.
This guy's reminding me of the priest from Shadow of the Colossus. That like comes with a big old.
Oh, I haven't played the
angular kind of bird mask.
Aw, David.
I've seen so many other people play it that I feel like I've played it, but I don't remember the priest.
So do you want cunning words?
Oh, sorry, I haven't. I was looking up the priest. Oh yeah. Oh, sorry. Yeah. Okay. Anywho, so I get 1 of these. You said.
You can have any of them that you want.
I'm sorry. So any one, or just as many as I want?
As many as you want.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
All 3 if you so desire.
Okay. I don't think I have an automated animal golem, but I have the other 2.
Yep. I had Connor go ahead and like change some things if you wanted to change anything about the options that I chose.
Yeah.
And he really wanted automated animal golems.
Excellent. Okay. Yeah. Silk stitched with cyanic art and cutting words. Yep.
Cool.
Oh, Caleb, I changed some of the things for the recollection.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I wanted
Whoops.
you to.
Oh.
I wanted you to because I wanted it to make it more your own.
Oh, okay.
Wait, you didn't want paladins drawn by giants? What? That's amazing.
Right, but paladins are slow.
It's true.
Not when they're drawn by giants. They have a very long leg stride.
David, where would you park the giants? Okay, this is.
They just sit on the building. All right, you know what? We'll talk about this later. Just kidding. Are you gonna park an automated? All right, sorry, whatever.
Oh, you'll see. You'll see.
Yeah.
All right, so we went ahead and made your character.
All right. Yep. Cool.
So what are you to me again? How do I know you?
I'm basically the overseer of the orphanage that you live in / work.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Where's your character sheet?
It's the first
It's
quick
the
character on the far right.
Top right. On the character sheets.
Okay, gotcha.
Page. Cool. Awesome. So we are going to zoom in. So let me grab the story move for that. So in handouts, all the moves that we'll be using are in handouts if you need to reference them at any time, as well as gear and tags and stuff like that.
Real quick, what is the recollections relationship with or opinion of the Angel Boys, whose name I'm forgetting?
The Angel Boys.
The Forgotten Heralds.
Yep, those. No, specifically, like generally as a faction. Because I wouldn't know you specifically, but if I was like,
just as much as the need told us, right? So you view them as pariahs, right? Nobody really trusts them.
But we're also pariahs, right? Does that make a difference?
Yes. I mean, you can basically view that however you want.
Oh, I mean, I'm sure he's going to be mean about it either way. I was just curious. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks.
That's all we know.
Yeah.
About how they view each other. So.
Cool.
Awesome. Yeah. So when you zoom in, the main characters present say what they're there to do. So obviously it's Easterette and Harahel are there to bring Easterette back to the recollection, and reunite her with her faction. The GM describes details of the environment or asks the players question about it. Others players may create or pick up quick characters, fill out the party, and then characters select gear according to their family's assets and established fiction. So we've already gone through the first 3 of those. Easterette and Harahel, you guys can have. I think we already did this with your guys' gear on your character sheets. But technically, whenever we zoom in, we do gear again, and so technically you can always say I don't have this if you want, right? Like so I guess technically we don't have that written on, at least we don't have that written on your guys' sheets. So let's just go ahead and do that, I guess. So let's do Harahel. I have to have like two different instances of Roll20 open so I can switch it to the family and character playbooks easily. Harahel, would you like a herald's trumpet?
Yes.
Okay. Sounds good. I'm putting it on your character sheet.
Obviously.
Would you like blessed jewelry?
Yeah.
Okay.
Is she supposed to say no? Is this a trick question?
Yeah, well, it's
I'm
just
confused.
technically sometimes, right? If you were going into a situation where maybe like you didn't want to have any weapons because you don't want to threaten anyone, you could say, "Well, I'm not bringing it this time," sort of a thing, right? That's because this is like a particular scene situation, sort of thing.
I like how in this setting you can just like buy a drinking horn from some guy and be like, "This is a hold up. Give me all your money," because for all they know, it'll just blow their brains out when you blow it.
Right. And then you are summoned by threats to that which is holy. That's your mode of transportation. But at this point, it's just like you're traveling with Easterette.
Yeah.
So, and then one thing you get to, so a couple of things. First, because of your machine playbook, you can add any free tag to your outfit when you tool up. So that's your blessed jewelry. If you want to, you can add another tag to it. Right now it has the tags regal and hardened. Which, functionally, for like mechanical purposes, that means, as soon as I find that space, wherever it says that, where is gear stuff listed? Here we go. Regal means the outfit is impressive and flashy. Everyone who sees it knows you and your family. So the blessed jewelry that you wear is just obviously like special and noble and stuff. Delineates you as a Forgotten Herald. But also hardened. It negates disadvantage stemming from radiation, hacking, psionics, and stranger forces. Besides, you get +1 armor when these deal harm to you. So you're protected from those sorts of things by this jewelry. You can also add another tag for free. Anything else you want to be special about your jewelry?
Does it have to be specifically something from the playbooks? It's like listed somewhere?
I guess it doesn't have to, but just to give you an example of some of the things that you could get, like camo, utility, comms, implanted, mantle, mobile, powered, sealed, thermo, and tough.
Wow. I don't know.
Just say yes again.
Probably leave that for later. I'll leave that for later because I don't know what I want to do with that.
Okay, yeah, sure.
It also just make it precious, and then it's just worth a lot of money. That's what all my stuff does. Somehow it's falling apart, but it's all worth a ton of money.
So yeah, I'm gonna say I'm wearing that jewelry but I'm like covering it with my robe because I don't want people to see it, but I do want the hardened like benefits of it.
Okay, you want to have it be hidden then
Yes.
instead? Yeah, add like hidden right now, so you have it particularly like illusioned away.
Oh yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. And then another thing you can technically do, because you're a Forgotten Herald, your character may give 2 extra tags and a name to a piece of armory or outfit, so a weapon or armor, and to turn it into a holy relic. If this relic is ever lost or destroyed, you pick a stat to roll with lasting disadvantage until a new equivalent item is created by or solemnly given to the character.
Yowzers.
So if you wanted to, you could make your trumpet into like a particular, like a special relic trumpet that has like a name and stuff.
But then don't lose it.
Yes.
And you get 2 extra tags
I
with
want
it.
to name my trumpet.
'Cause
Yeah, what's your trumpet called?
It, then
Oh, I don't know. Give me a second.
Yeah, you can think about the name. What do you want to be special about it? So far, it's ranged and it does area damage, so it does like damage in an area instead of just like one individual. Again, some examples are for weapons. Aberrant. It uses something other than kinetic force to hurt your enemies. Sound waves, radiation, psionics.
doesn't
I
already
guess
do.
it should already kind of do that, but also brutal, devastates its target and leaves collateral damage. Elegant, it's flashy in use and can bypass simple defenses. Far, useful against targets hundreds of meters away but still within line of sight. Hidden, many, if you lose or use up the weapon, you have others to hand.
Wow.
You just have tons of relics. Well, that almost kind of cheats the relics system, 'cause then you can't use it.
What it would probably be is you have like a bunch of like magical copies of it or something. Like
Yeah.
it would be something like that.
But then you couldn't lose
I
it,
have
so you wouldn't have to worry
photocopy.
about the downside.
It could also be non-lethal or unreliable. It couldn't be silent because that would kind of defeat the entire purpose.
It's like a dog whistle. You blow it and they just die, but they don't know
Oh
why.
my gosh. That's kind of
You could, sure, if you want to.
Oh, that's kind of cool. But I also
And then if
like
you
the
give it
idea of
far,
making
you can
a
just
lot
like
of
snake
noise.
people.
Yeah, any ideas? You could add 2 tags to it.
Oh. See, it's
Give
so
it mobile.
cool. It's so cool to have the idea of it being completely silent, but it's also so cool to just imagine it being super loud.
Well, that's the thing, right? Like, this is your first character. You're gonna play a different character at some point in this campaign, so you can just do one or the other, and then you can do the second one later, right?
Is this the Herald who shows up and blows the horn and tells everyone's coming, or the Angel of Death who shows up and just kills everybody before they know he's there?
Okay.
Yeah, but which one is Harahel right
That's
now?
true. Harahell's more of a messenger than a warrior.
That's what I
so,
figured, yeah.
Yeah. He's gonna be loud and cool.
Okay.
But I did come up with a name. It's gonna be named Clamor. Because
Yeah.
not only is that just a cool word, it's also the Latin word for shout.
Okay.
Nice. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, you get to add 2 tags to it.
It's also half of the Whispering Clamor song.
True.
Can you send me a list of the tags, or where is
It
that?
should be on the
It is in the gear handout.
I don't know if I have.
Ooh, fancy.
In the on roll 20.
Oh. Everything is everywhere.
So this is for armory
it's so
specifically,
tiny.
right? You
Yeah,
can make it
armory is what you're looking at, because armory is like weapons.
If you click on it, it gets bigger.
Oh, okay, a little bigger.
Oh, it should full screen it. That's weird. I mean, like, I feel like brutal makes sense. Devastates its targets and leaves collateral damage. You could do non-lethal if you didn't want it to actually kill anybody. Elegant is flashy and can bypass simple defenses. I feel like a horn already does that.
Isn't it already aberrant just because by nature it
Aberrant,
uses
yeah.
sound waves?
Yeah.
It kind of technically is, but I don't know. It just doesn't list it for some reason originally.
Okay.
Well, what was the original thing?
Ranged an area.
I mean, like, was it originally?
It's a herald's trumpet, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, it is?
Yep.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah.
Huh.
Really, I'm just going to list it as aberrant because it is.
Okay.
What? If she gets aberrant for free, then I want another tag on mine, because aberrant was built into mine. Just kidding.
The playbook makes it built into it.
You just added it there.
But there's no way that a herald trumpet doing damage to people is an aberrant.
I'm not.
Unless I'm literally just using it to swing at someone's face. Like, that doesn't really make much sense.
But it wouldn't be an area damage then, right?
Right.
Like,
yeah. Maybe it explodes. It has to be kinetic. That's the only thing it has to be not aberrant.
Right.
Although I think even heat is like, I don't know. It doesn't matter. I'm just kidding.
Well, Connor, while she's looking at this, technically, the gear stuff for you, did you want all of the ones that your people get? Cutting words, silk stitches, psionic art, and automated animal golems.
Why would an orphan have an automated animal golem? Just out of curiosity.
Hey,
I'm just saying. Oh. Plus, you have a pet, don't you?
what are you trying to do, man?
You can't have two pets. It's like,
one can ride the other.
What?
And I'll ride that one.
Makes sense.
I'll ride the invisible one on top
pet
of the
pets.
all
It's
the
like
other
pet
one.
pets from Neopets. It's like
That's right.
You're just floating like 5 feet above your horse.
horse. It's a horse for a horse.
No.
Oh my God.
I'm just imagining like a horse traveling on like a super speed treadmill where it's like it's running on the treadmill, but the treadmill is like making it go super fast.
It's actually a wheel. It's just turning the wheel with its legs.
Yeah. It's on a giant bicycle.
I guess it would have to go backwards then. Wouldn't it?
Yeah, I don't know.
Wouldn't you be
But
turning the
I
wheel
assume, Connor, you have
backwards?
cutting
I don't know.
words.
Sorry.
What are cutting words?
You yell at people
Literally,
and they bleed.
you insult people and they does damage to them. It's like a bard in Vicious Mockery.
Yeah, okay. I'll
It's
take
some
that,
sort
yeah.
of magical words, yeah.
And
And
then,
then Silk
It's
Stitch with
rap.
psionic art.
Is what we're saying. You rap battle and they die.
isn't that the same thing, Gil?
What?
Aren't those my socks?
No, this is like armor.
Okay.
This is like
sure.
your clothing is stitched with this.
What, is there any negative to bringing this with
No,
me?
it's just
okay.
this is what you have. Yeah.
Okay. Then yeah, I'll take all of it. Yeah.
Okay.
I have blessed
Take one of
jewelry,
those and one of those and just give me one of everything.
So what does the blessed jewelry do again?
That doesn't do anything. I was copying it from Carly's character sheet so I could write in what you actually have.
Okay.
So you also get your mask, your gas mask. And technically, as a Hellion, you would be able to add one to the quality of a group of followers, but you don't have any of those. So.
Wait,
Yeah,
really?
I had the same.
Yeah, so that's the original one that I had for the recollection was the agents.
That's so stupid.
I feel your pain.
I'm never good
David.
at min-maxing in RPGs. I'm great at min-maxing in video games.
Yeah.
Okay, it's fine. Let's continue.
Okay, cool note. The actual word for shout in Latin is pronounced more like claymore, which is cool because that's a kind of sword. But is it already an area weapon? Like, is that a tag that's already on it? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I still get to add 2 then?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Okay. I think I'm gonna do far and non-lethal.
Yeah. That's what I figured you were going to choose. Non-lethal, yeah. Sounds like horror hell.
Yeah.
All right, cool. One last note before we get started. Carly, you can technically replace one of your harm boxes with bathed in blinding light because of being a Forgotten Herald.
It's pretty cool.
What does that mean?
So you see your harm boxes right here?
No, I see nothing.
Should be
I
taking
see
you
nothing.
Well, okay. Every time
on the roll 20.
Every time it moves me away from what you're trying to make me look at.
Okay, basically, when you get hit, you're dinged. Then you get bent. Then you get busted and you lose 1 force. And you get glitched and you lose 1 steel. And then you get totaled. So you can replace one of those with blinding light. I assume total isn't an option though.
Yeah, you can't actually replace total, but you can replace any other one.
Pick to not die.
Okay, but what does that mean?
So
it means you don't have to lose a stat on these.
Yeah, basically. Ones. So with these harm, it's like as you take damage, these are the things that happen to you, and it doesn't like actually be harmful to you, right? In terms of minuses to anything until you get to busted, which is -1 force, and then glitch, which is -1 steel. So you can replace either one of those. This would be the smart option, right? Like replace one of those with bathed in blinding light. So that is a narrative thing that happens, but you don't actually have to lose a stat because you're replacing it. Basically, it's like this is what happens as you get progressively wounded. You get dinged, and then you get bent, which doesn't actually do anything, right, in terms of just narrative, not mechanical. And then busted, so you it's harder to hit things. Glitched, -1 steel, it's harder to survive in the wasteland. And then totaled, which is you die. So you get to replace either dinged, bent, busted, or glitched with bathed in blinding light.
I'll do busted.
Okay.
Because I already have 0 force. So that would suck.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So, we begin. And I assume we are beginning wherever the recollection... So you say where we are on the map. And the map says that the recollection is around these parts. Around these areas. Where particularly do you live, Easterrat?
I'm assuming the 4th ward.
Okay. So I guess question for you and David. Is this settlement right here? This is the nadir. David is what
Such a cool map.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Isn't it so lit?
Yeah, there's a sun right there.
Does it make sense that the nadir would be a settlement filled with a bunch of people, not just the people who are technically part of the Perihelions?
I'm not really sure what the game assumes that a faction is as far as population goes. So I'm fine with that.
You're settled.
Right.
So you have a particular place where you live, but it doesn't necessarily mean that yeah, I guess it's just up to you whether or not you would let other people live there. Honestly.
I think it makes sense that it would be sort of a tier where the people on Azimuth rule over the Perihelions on the ground, and then the Perihelions on the ground rule over the Aphelions, which are normal people that live there with them. So
okay.
yeah,
yep.
I'm fine with that. Makes
sense.
sense.
So I think technically the recollection kind of is around this general spot, all over this kind of southern part of this section of land.
Plus, it's probably a lot of the of your guys there because they're supposed to be my slaves, so they probably are there a lot.
Yeah, and honestly, I think the Perihelions technically have jurisdiction from here to here. There's a whole range of stuff that they're in charge of.
Yeah.
But their capital is right over here.
Right.
Thing, right.
That makes sense.
So it is your Easterrat from the nadir right over here? From nadir? I was really asking Connor.
Oh, okay.
Is what here?
Is Iseret from this like main city of the Perihelions?
I'd assume so.
Okay, sounds good. And we're gonna name all of this stuff as we go as well. So a lot of these things will, like these long descriptions, will be replaced with like proper names.
Yeah.
As we go. But we definitely know that that's called Nadir, right? That's what you named it.
I think so. Yeah. Let me check.
Yeah.
Wait, why isn't it list of... Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. So that's where we pick up with these characters. So we see Iseret and Harahel in the desert wasteland, heading towards Nadir. Right. So you see the outline. Is there a wall in this city, David?
It says that it's an artificial island bathed in eternal light, so I think probably not, because it's got a body of water around it.
And you also don't have good defenses, so probably not. Yeah.
True. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just kind of like a sprawling, kind of like.
Maybe
Probably,
like...
it was a bigger city at one point, and maybe there's only part of it that's actually settled now because there's less people. There's an apocalypse.
Maybe there's like a huge, like Northern water tribe style like water wall, but it's just fallen to pieces now. So like if you were in the water trying to get to the place, you would run into a big wall. Except now you just go over what's left of the big wall.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So it's just basically rubble at this point.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So what do we see? What do we see from Iseret and Harahel? You guys can describe your characters, what you're doing, how you're approaching.
Can you go back to my character sheet?
Yep.
Would be able to
Sure can.
look at my character physical traits again.
Yeah, and feel free to always say whenever you need me to change the page, because we'll have to do it a lot.
I've got my stuff written down on Google Docs, so.
Dang it, does carry over how my looks, or do we not circle those or anything? It's fine.
I did. Yeah. Right there.
Oh, gotcha. That makes so much more sense. Okay. Okay, so we see a little girl with a gas mask. Very small, very petite, little weakling. She's got some like dirty brown hair that's kind of coming out from behind her. Gas mask is kind of like her bangs kind of like go up over her head, and it's all like scruffy and whatnot. And
I did find another picture on Pinterest that I thought might be somewhat like what your character looks like, just from a certain angle. If you wanted to look at that, just at any point, you don't have to stop.
I just realized how Doctor Who your character is.
What does that mean?
You seen that episode where everybody has gas masks for faces?
Oh no, I've only seen one episode of Doctor Who.
I mean, it's like a meme. That's what I mean. I've barely watched any of it, but yeah. Anyways, just never mind.
No, it's all good. And she is riding.
Oh, that's cool.
Straight up, she's riding a boulder. Or no, it's a rock. It's a rock.
Wait, so your golem looks like Dwayne?
What?
It's making the rock joke. Never mind.
Oh, gotcha. No.
God.
So she's riding straight up a rock, and on the rock she's just petting what seems to be nothing. She just keeps. Actually, no. I guess she's not petting anything. She looks like she's like waving very funnily, just like putting her arm up and down like this, like she's waving.
Like you do in the car window.
Right. Yeah. Kind of.
Right.
Kind of like that.
With
yeah.
the air. Yeah.
Right. And Yeah, that's all I got.
And so, how is this boulder moving exactly?
How is it not crushing you as it rolls?
That's a good point.
I had the same question.
So I guess it's got
It's like a weird shaped rock that kind of looks like it has little nubs that it
Yeah.
can move.
That's what I was thinking. I have 2, right? Or can I have 4?
Yeah, but they probably all work in tandem. No, you probably have 2. You probably just have 2, but whatever it is can animate. the
So
whole
it
thing,
looks
yeah.
like a big rock
Okay, yeah.
motorcycle?
No, it looks like a rock person without any arms.
Oh, okay.
It's just kind of trudging along like this.
And what is it wearing, Connor?
Nothing. Oh, a pair of socks.
Yeah, so she has a pair of magical socks that she can put on things and animate them.
Oh my
I was waiting to reveal that in character conversation. I was going to be like,
it's impossible that we don't see that in this first scene.
How did you get the
Yeah.
socks on the rock
So ridiculous.
in the first place?
That's a good
That's
question.
I don't think we
Very-
talk about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
You spent
It was
10 years.
It was a
Chipping away at this rock thing.
well,
Yeah.
well,
Just one when
no.
she
It just
started.
I just found a rock that had like little inlets that I could put socks on them, and then the animation did the rest. It formed it into something I could travel on.
Sure.
I'm assuming it also doesn't have a head, and its body is more like wide,
Flat,
and
so you can, like,
so I
yeah.
can sit on it. Yeah,
It's literally just like a platform with legs. Yeah.
yeah, basically. So
Cool.
there
It's
I go.
wearing 2 white socks or whatever color socks. What color are they?
I mean, I don't think that they would remain white,
Yeah.
so just brown socks.
Dirty brown socks.
Like dirty brown socks, but like woolly. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Think of woolly. All right. Anyway, then are we with other people then, or?
It'd be you and Harhel. Yeah.
Oh, she's on the rock with me.
No, I wouldn't be.
No.
Oh, okay, that's good. I'd have to explain a lot of things. So where is
How
Harhel?
was she keeping up with the rock?
It was probably not moving too
I'm a
fast.
robotic angel.
It's probably just walking normally.
You're on the robotic angel,
No,
or
I
did you
am
say
a
that you
robotic
are?
angel.
Oh,
But I don't think you guys can fly, can you? Or do you have mobile as part of your?
I mean, my like mode of transportation is basically like, oh, you get summoned by threats
Right.
to what is holy.
Right.
So I assume I can, I don't know, move in some supernatural way, but it doesn't really make.
It doesn't sound like you have a lot of control over it.
No.
Yeah.
what the heck?
Yeah, that's Harhel. I posted the Pinterest link in
Oh,
chat.
I was gonna do that.
Oh,
Thanks.
sorry.
Thanks, babe.
Is it? I assume it's this player characters thing that you linked, right?
Yep.
Okay, that's creepy. It's pretty scary.
So Harhel
Yeah, you want to describe him for us?
is,
Oh, you're playing a guy.
yeah.
This is the first, right?
For a main campaign, yeah. I've played a guy for like one shots.
That one shot we did with the moms.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Where I played a guy and everyone else played a girl.
Yeah.
Yep.
Good times.
So he has a blank face, and I put in parentheses literally. A sleek casing, for like body type. Soft voice. And oh, that's the end of the look section. But basically he looks like he's pretty tall. He's got long, flowing, colorful robes, with his jewelry like underneath them. He probably has like his robe like closed right now. And yeah, the like casing of his skin is like reddish in color.
like kind of it's like a rust color, but it's not actually rusted, which is why rust is a concern because it's hard to spot. And in the Pinterest image, he has like a horn kind of thing coming up, but I don't think I like that. And so I think he doesn't have that kind of a thing. I think other like Forgotten Heralds have weird like head ornament things, but I don't think he has anything.
So you just kind of like have a smooth, round,
Yeah.
like oval face or whatever. Yeah. It's just like completely blank.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did anybody else hear Carly's voice kind of sound robotic for a second there?
Well,
That might have been because I moved my mic arm.
Okay.
I don't know.
Cut out.
Sometimes
Alright.
it does that.
I mean, it's relevant.
I mean,
Yeah, Caleb, I literally thought you would like put a filter on
Oh,
her
no.
voice, and I couldn't figure out how you could have done that.
I would not have that. Yeah, cool. So you guys are walking. Well, what's the conversation happening between you two as you near the wall that determines, like the rubbled wall that determines the outside of the.
I mean, this seems very me to say, but I don't think he'd be having much conversation.
What a surprise!
Like,
Even in guy form,
yeah.
some things stay the same. I
Are you
mean,
saying anything, Easterette?
I don't know. This is interesting. I pictured my character answering a lot of questions.
I mean,
Because
I
my character
don't
is so-
I don't know enough about anything that's
This
happening
character.
to know what he would be talking about. Like,
Maybe.
Why
Well,
did
so
we?
remember?
Why are we
You
traveling
guys just remember he saved you from the dark dimension.
Oh,
right?
Maybe
but,
you
like,
are answering questions. Maybe the invisible thing is asking them, and she just thinks you're crazy.
That's a fair. That's a first thing to. Well, that's the thing. That's a first thing to consider. Does Harahel know about? Have you named your pet?
Your pet.
what do you mean?
I guess it's
Your Tannerin.
He's my pet.
What's his name?
My pet.
Oh, that's right.
Okay.
Because I thought you were going to call it your friend, so that everyone thought you were just being a dumb kid.
Oh no. I just wanted people to think it's my imaginary friend because it's invisible.
Right, and that's why you were going to call it your friend. I thought that was what you said, but that's.
Oh, I guess that hurts too.
I mean, you can call it whatever you want. I just was trying to say what I thought.
I don't know. Okay. This is the first line we get. Is calling if I called you my pet, would that be offensive?
And I don't think your pet like talks. I think it gives you impressions of feelings.
Okay, yeah, I like that. Yeah,
Yeah. And so I think you.
like Aiden and Jody from Beyond the Souls.
Yeah. I think actually what you get mostly, you get like smells from this
What?
guy, right? Like, and you
Smells
figured out
nice.
its you figured out its language, right? And like what it uses for smells, right? Like to mean what things.
Well, hasn't he literally just meant it? Wouldn't he have like no idea?
Well, you're starting to understand it, I suppose, right? Like,
Okay.
I
Also,
think
it's a she. I
they're
keep
pretty obvious. Yeah,
Yeah, I think
they're
that would,
pretty obvious.
Yeah,
And
it
there's
has
like
to
an
be strong
impression.
sense.
There's an impression that you get just by feeling as well, but like it's also accompanied by a smell. So like,
I just thought of something
Right.
really, really sad. What if my pet dies and then I just smell death for the rest of my life?
that's sad.
That'd be unfortunate. Yeah.
Caleb, I made an origami reference and you didn't notice.
Oh, I'm sorry. What did you
You
say?
said smells nice.
To be
Okay,
fair, that's a
come on,
pretty.
that's
I haven't
generic
watched it in a long
statement.
time. Yeah,
That is such a generic statement. I've seen the
Yeah.
whole series and I don't even get that.
it's also been a while since I watched it. So.
Gods have different smells. That's the whole like.
Oh,
Running
yeah, I remember that now.
I
Yeah.
mean, I have no idea what you're talking about, but I had no idea that was a reference to anything. It seemed like a pretty normal thing to say.
I remember now. Yeah. But yeah, so you get back kind of like a, I don't know. It's kind of like the smell of vinegar, right? So this kind of
Okay.
like acrid kind of scent, and it's you've taken that to mean kind of confusion. Like I don't know, like maybe.
How about Iseret 2?
And you basically smell like smoke, and that's like a no.
How about friend? Are we friends now? I've never had one of those before. Well, I did, but then I punched him. It didn't last very long.
Yeah. I think you get back kind of like the scent of like baking bread, and it's like a like a friend.
Like
I like that.
like a homey smell. Like
like a homey smell. Yeah.
Yeah. So you should just give me the smell and like how I feel from the smell, and then I'll interpret what he's saying.
Sure.
Because I feel like if you had said like you get the smell of like freshly made home bread, like I understand. Okay, that's like a homey feel, like feels at home.
Yeah, I feel comfortable.
And I can interpret. Yeah.
That also lets you falsely interpret it, which is fun.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
Exactly.
Yeah,
which I think would be
if you're fine with that. If you're fine with that, yeah.
Yeah.
So real quick, I'm just gonna write this down for my own sake. Right. Vinegar, you get the feeling of confusion.
Mm-hmm.
What did I say? Smoke, you get the feeling of discomfort. And baking bread, the feeling of comfort.
Okay, yeah. That makes sense.
This is also just for my benefit, so I know not to. So I know the smells that I can reuse.
Not to contradict yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, you get back the smell of baking bread and the kind of like warm feeling.
You should just You should put it in like a Word document too.
Sure. Put it on my notes.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna make a Google Doc for it so that I can cheat.
Okay.
Real quick, I think right after you asked the first question, Harahel thinks that you're talking to him at first.
I was wondering about that.
Which is, you say like, would it be offensive if I called you my pet? And then he's just like, to himself, he's just like, yes, and he kind of looks around, but then he realizes that you're not looking at him and you're obviously talking to something that's not there, and so he's like, okay, she's crazy, and then he's kind of
right.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Harahel. Yeah, real quick, Harahel, what are you thinking about this girl? Like, you saved her and stuff, and you're bringing her back home, but like, what in the heck? How do you view her?
I mean, I feel like we should figure out what the context was that I actually saved you in, because, like,
yeah, maybe we get like a flashback as Harahel is like thinking of like the stuff they just went through. I mean, yeah, I mean, how I guess first, honestly, this is all stuff that we should get in character from the interrogation. Honestly, so let's just ignore that for now. Yeah, let's ignore your actual any of the context, and we'll just start to discover that together, because that makes more sense than having like an exposition here. So I think what happens as you guys kind of start getting into the you come up to like the rubble wall, right, and you're walking on this or riding this like rock golem thing, and Harhel's walking next to you, and Isra, you come across someone you know. You come across a guy that he looks like an adventurous kind of type. He's like maybe 18, 19. He's kind of been like a big brother to you over the years. And he's kind of like decked out in like explorer's garb, so like kind of thick desert clothing, right? He has like this kind of like half kind of like canvas kind of like cape, cloak thing that he can like cover himself with. He has kind of like a half sword, half like machete kind of looking thing that he kind of keeps sheathed to one side. He has like a thick backpack strung across one shoulder, and he has another like longer sword like on his back, in a big sheath. And his mask is kind of similar to your own. You might have like modeled your mask after his, possibly. But he has kind of like a gas mask, kind of goggle looking thing, It's a bit more kind of like subtle and elegant than yours in terms of like it looks like a gas mask, but it's like much less like just kind of like out there in the open, like whoa, this big old thing. Just kind of like a filter kind of for desert. It's kind of like a smooth scalp of this. It's almost like a helmet. Though I don't think it goes all the way around. It's kind of like just up to the top of his head. And then like these goggle things. And I'm gonna send you guys the Pinterest link for him. I'm just not posting them on Roll20 because for copyright purposes in terms of the stream and whatnot. But you know this guy's name is Rebby.
Sorry, which chat
What?
did you post those into?
On the Friday group chat.
Oh, okay, right.
Facebook. What, are you laughing at what he looks like?
He was so intimidating until you said his name.
I mean, yeah, he's not really honestly an intimidating person. He's rather he's nice. He's like a nice kind of calm guy.
Yeah,
he's like your old kind of like an older brother sort of figure to you, I think.
Okay. All right.
And he kind of like
I was gonna be like, I was gonna actually in person just laugh at this guy.
Yeah. He kind of appears from behind like part of the wall, and looks and sees you like coming, and you can't see any of his facial expressions because he's behind the mask. But he kind of like does a wave at you.
And I know him because.
He's always been around. Yeah, I mean, he's part of the recollection. He's always been around. He's an agent. He works for one of the leaders of the gang, one of the oracles.
Okay. Hey, Ruby, I'm back and I brought a pet. I mean, friend. Sorry.
Yeah, you get the. I think you kind of get like a smell that's like.
Like I burnt the bread.
Yeah. Just for a moment, and then it goes back to. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, then it goes back to just being the normal bread smell.
It'd be super interesting if the tannerin, when they connect with a person, it's the smells that you get are based off of the person's emotions
perceptions
tied to
of
those smells.
Yeah.
That's super interesting.
Yeah. So this guy steps out and he gives you a wave, and you say that to him, and he says, yes, I can see that. And he's like looking at you, Harhel, like,
Harhel just gives a small little wave.
How you doing, Rebby?
Is that something that the Forgotten Heralds do as like part of their nomenclature of like hand gestures and stuff, or is that like something you picked up from just humans?
I think that's just something he picked up from humans.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it probably looks pretty like dismissive and not dismissive, non-confrontational, pretty like sort of thing.
It's
and
also
so
weird because he's like a robot.
Right, yeah, but he sort of relaxes because you looked pretty non-confrontational when you did that, and sorry, he looks back at you, AC Ryan. What were you saying?
How you been, Rebby? Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot to introduce you to my angel friend. This person rescued me.
Rescued you?
Yeah, I was in some sort of dimension. There are lots of scary monsters there.
Isra, where have you been? You've been missing for 2 weeks now.
Well, that's what I've been trying to explain. See, I was stuck in this other dimension.
And
lots of scary monsters, like with teeth. Honestly, I can't really describe them. I think I'm a little scarred. Do you remember that doctor that came around and was talking to Kalina? Remember Kalina after that really bad thing happened to her and that doctor came and made her brain feel better? I think I need to talk to one of those.
A therapist?
Yeah, that's what they call them.
Harhel just
got some spooky stuff in my head.
You've been watching too many old movies.
I don't get it.
Kalina didn't see a therapist. Kalina had her arm broken. You're mixing it up with that movie we saw 1 year ago. The one about the guy in the office.
No, it was
He had
definitely
the
a real
nice
person.
clothing, worked for a business. One of the old movies from before the fall. Anyway, doesn't matter. I see that you have one of the heralds with you. And he kind of does like a nod that's like I don't know, like you can see he's trying to be like respectful, but obviously like is just afraid of you.
Yeah.
So
Okay, I'll be like, you can see him?
see the angel who's right next to you? Yes, of course.
Oh, when you said Harold, I'm sorry. You're talking about the angel. I got confused. I didn't know a herald and angel were.
Well, that's what they're called. That's what they're called.
Synonyms.
Synonyms. That's the word you're looking for.
Synonyms?
And he looks at you, Harahel, and he says, Harold, are you the one responsible for saving Iseret from whatever trouble she found herself in?
Just nods.
Yeah. Classic Carly character move.
I don't know. Saying
Yeah,
yes sounds weird.
Yeah.
Why? Because you have to say it like a robot?
Just be sarcastic. Be like, no, I just found him on the road. Thought it would be funny if you followed him. Or her. It's a her.
Yeah.
Every time.
But my friends,
yeah.
Pretty...
And he kind of like he kind of just like nods in response and says, "Well, I thank you. I suppose. Well, the overseer will want to see you, Iseret. We should probably get going. I was going to go out and do a scavenging mission today, but I suppose I should really lead you back. It's getting dangerous around here. That Nadir isn't as safe as it once was."
Well, okay. That sounds good.
I see you didn't manage
hungry?
to...
I'm hungry. Can we eat something?
Yeah, he chuckles and he says, I have some rations in my pack here. And then he just like takes out some like jerky and like kind of like old bread and kind of holds them up to you.
Ah, dead things. Boy, am I glad to be back.
Yeah, I think he says, crap, I was going to say something I forgot now. I think he says, well, you should probably come with me. I see you didn't manage to lose the animating sleeves, at least. What did you get those, by the way?
I don't remember. I think I found them on a dead person. Oh yeah, I remember.
And he just kind of like taps
the side. Nice goatee.
Yeah, he kind of like taps the side of his mask in like a kind of like confused gesture, and he says like, "You're gonna want to talk to the overseer about that."
What do you mean?
We don't know anything about a dead person. It's one of the recollection, yeah?
I don't know.
Well, it would have to be if it's an animating sleeve.
Well, I guess so, yeah. Does that mean I have to give him up?
Maybe. Probably. All right, come on, Iseret. Let's go.
All right, friend. Come on.
Yeah, and I guess the guy just assumes you're talking to Harhel, so he just kind of shrugs and leads you guys further into Nadir. And yeah, well, and like
you can go now, angel friend. Thanks for saving my life. And she like skips away.
Okay, I mean Harhel just kind of stops and doesn't follow. I guess I don't know.
Thanks for playing, Carly. I mean, bye.
I mean, he
Well,
definitely follows, but maybe not like actually with her. Like,
Okay, yeah,
he
sure.
just keeps his distance.
Yeah, you think about it for a second, you're like, I should probably make sure she doesn't get in any trouble. Then
Yeah, I
Okay.
guess my character shouldn't have said that. I forgot where. I figured this would be the opportunity to like give her the reason to keep staying with us. We can just do
Right.
that later.
I mean,
Let's just keep going. Sorry.
I don't know exactly how like rolling stuff works in the system, but is there a roll I can make to like see if her imaginary friend brings up any red flags for me, like how she's acting?
Oh, I see what you're
Because
saying. Yeah,
obviously,
kind of
like I would hate Tannerin, right? And I would know something about them and what they
Mhm.
do.
Yeah, do you want to make it would be a lore roll. Let's see the move on. Let's see in character moves. It would be unearth forgotten lore. Probably.
Okay.
Yeah. So roll plus lore.
How do I do that?
So on your
Slash roll 2d6.
Yeah, just be slash roll 2d6, and then you have a lore of +1. Okay, yeah,
Dang.
success. So go ahead and look at the handouts in Roll20 and the character moves, and there's a couple of questions you can ask here. So on a 10 plus, you get you gain 1 data, which is it's a resource that your family has and can use for various things. Real quick, let me double check what data specifically is in terms of its mechanical effects.
Thank
Data. Wish this was more intuitive as to where this was in the book. Let's try that. Here you go. Data. Represents secrets and insights your family has uncovered. You can spend it to reveal a new feature on the map, and use relevant knowledge to boost your roll. So you gain that as a point. So just put that on your character sheet somewhere. You have 1 data. And then, actually, wait a second. There might be a space on the family playbook to put that. Yeah, here. I'm just going to change it on your family playbook on Roll20 as well. So you have 1 data. And then you can ask, if you look at those moves, unearth forgotten lore, you can ask 3 questions from the list of 4 there. So this is basically, right, like you're wondering about the thing that happened to Iseret, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you don't know much about it. You know, something happened to her in the dimension, but...
Is that a wonder or a horror? That's a great question to
That's
ask.
definitely one of the questions I'm going to ask. Yeah, I'm just going to ask the first 3 questions. Is it a wonder or a horror? Where is it drawing power from? And what dangers is it hiding?
Okay, is that a wonder or a horror? To be seen. I mean, it really depends on if this question is coming from your perspective. Yeah. It depends on if this is coming from your perspective or not. To you, I don't think... See, 11 plus, because it's not like...
Right? So this is like what I know about, like...
Well, that's the thing. I don't think you know it was that she has a Tannerin pet right now, right? Okay. Like, she's been talking to something.
Yeah.
And so, like, just saying, like, is it a wonder or a horror? I think if we're just... Because basically you'd be asking...
The fact that she's talking to someone that's obviously not there, is that a wonder or a horror?
Okay, that's that. Yeah, so we have that specifically stated. Is that a wonder or a horror?
Like, is it just childlike, like having an imaginary friend, or is it something else?
It's something else. Okay. Yeah.
So the answer
Something
would be
darker than
4
that.
then.
Yeah, I think so. What is it drawing power from?
Holy heck.
Iseret?
Oh, that's why I'm always hungry.
You are Lift.
Have I been able to see the Tannerin before, like in that weird dimension thing? Like, did I see
No.
what the friend looks like? No, I
You've
saw
never
nobody.
seen what. Yeah, you did. You've never seen what this thing looks like.
So
It's all-
I was like in the dimension being attacked by them, but I didn't see them.
Oh no, you saw Tannerin, but you didn't see this Tannerin
Okay.
because I think we've established in canon that it can't take form yet. Like because it's young, it can't actually take a form yet. So
Okay, duh. Yeah.
And then what dangers is it hiding? What dangers is it hiding?
That's a great question.
Yeah, right. It's like, okay, the dangers that it's hiding is basically like it's using whatever this thing is that she's talking to, and I don't know if you can confirm that it's like anything about it specifically. Your guess is probably it's some sort of Tannerin related thing, but you don't know any more specifics about it than that. But what dangers is it hiding? It's mainly, it all has to do with Iseret and how she interacts with it, because I think like one of the dangers is that it will harm Iseret in some way by draining her completely, right? That's something that you kind of think about as one possible danger. That it's parasitic in some way on her. But the other danger that comes to mind is Iseret could use it to do something, right? Like that energy, it could draw energy from her, or give her more energy to go outward. So those are two possible dangers you could foresee. Yeah, and that's basically what you know about this thing so far. Your suspicions about it. So
yeah, so that's definitely why I keep an eye on her, because I'm like, okay,
sure.
Something's wrong here. That's not just her talking to an imaginary friend. Like it's specifically, it's not just like, oh, she has an imaginary friend now because she went through a traumatic experience and she needs something to cope with it.
It's
like,
not
oh,
that.
No, this is
you know there's
different
something actually happening.
Yeah.
Yep. Exactly. So you guys head into Nadir, and I think it's, I mean, we get the first kind of like picture of this city. And I think it's obvious there's a lot of kind of downtroddenness to the whole place. It's pretty, I guess honestly the question should be posed to David. What is Nadir like?
I mean, I think it's like probably the most cyberpunk element of the whole setting, where like it's obvious that there's like an upper and lower sort of echelon to it. So like there's very obviously like slums that were probably used to be really high tech and nice, and now are just like run down. And then there's the high rises and the nice areas where the perihelions who live on the ground live, but everybody else is stuck still on, you know, the in the garbage parts of the city that have gone out of repair.
Yeah. I think one thing that we probably have noticed in the background too is that before when we first saw Iseret and Harhel walking towards the city, what at first maybe just seemed like, oh, the planet has two suns. Now it's very obvious that like whatever this thing is, it's actually just floating above Nadir, and it's like a giant construct.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the other thing, is that it's directly below that sun, and it's like constantly daytime according to the to the thing. It's bathed. It's constantly bathed in divine light. Is the
everyone's sleep schedules are messed up.
Yep.
I mean, no one has one.
Yeah, they just have arbitrary times that they decide to sleep. And they cover themselves with blankets and have blackout curtains in their rooms.
They have really good shades on their windows.
Yeah. Yeah. So as you're going through the city, that's what we kind of see at the environs. and you guys get to the recollections kind of quarter of the city, right? Like the whatever. And I guess the question could be posed to Connor: what does the recollections like quarter of the city look like? What changes when you go into that section of the city that the recollections kind of like in charge of?
They're probably not technically allowed there, so that's probably part of like I mean, like if someone found out they were there, they'd probably be like in trouble. So that probably would help you, because I think that technically the I know this is for Connor's question. I'm just trying to help him get an idea. I think technically we use their stuff for like our rituals, but we also definitely wouldn't want anyone to know that. So it would be like one of those things where technically we're buddies, but if we actually find you and anyone sees us find you, we have to kick you out for the sake of our appearances. Sorry, kind of thing.
Sure. So I guess maybe the question should be asked: Are any recollection people allowed to go around the city with masks, or would it be a thing where they can't wear their masks when they're just out and about?
I mean, I think there's probably parts of the city where they could, just because there's not enough people who care to do anything about it. But like anywhere where that's actually policed at all, probably it's not like they'd be shot at. They'd be like, dude, you can't wear that.
Okay. And I think maybe that's why more and more recollection people have taken to wearing masks that look like utilitarian instead of like artistic things, which is why, you know, Rebby and Easter Rat have like the gas mask.
Yeah, like just a normal gas mask.
Yeah. And Connor, okay, correct me if I'm wrong here, but maybe a fun thing to do would be like a fun thing going on in the culture right now is a lot of the older members of the recollection are like, no, these masks are our heritage. They have to be artistic. And all the younger people are like, no, like we have to, this is to survive. Like we have to just be utilitarian. Like the masks are important to our culture, but they don't have to be this like flashy thing that everyone notices. Does that make sense?
Sure.
Yeah. So yeah, what does the recollection part of the city look like? Is it in like the slum part of the city in terms of like the more corrupt part of the city so that people can wear their masks there? Is it in another nicer part of the city and they have to like make sure that people don't see them in their masks? What do you think?
I don't know. I don't know. You pick. I don't know.
I think maybe what is probably true is, maybe there's like an underground sort of like black market sort of situation where, there are various kind of like lower layers to the city where like various like corrupt markets and stuff like that exist, and that's primarily where the recollection kind of has their stuff. But maybe the actual like, because there's like particular cultures going on here, right? There's the Perihelions culture, the Recollections culture, the Hellbreakers culture, the New Harmonies culture. They're all different cultures besides the fact that there are factions within those cultures that do things. And so there's probably a quarter of the city that's like whatever the Persian people instead of the Egyptian overlords sort of thing, right? That they live in, and maybe that's like more like ghetto style. But then below that, there's like the Recollections headquarters.
I think it makes sense that this place, as well as probably the place for the forgive me, I'm still figuring out the names, but the working class people, that is your faction. I imagine the main base of those two places are probably the most like faction / culture rich, diverse rather, because I think they're probably like
so Nadir and the urban hellhole.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's not good content.
So this isn't the Recollection city.
No, it's not your
Recollection
base.
just here.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, that makes a lot more sense now. I was really confused the whole time.
Yeah.
Okay.
So who owns this city? Like, who's the city belong to?
The Perihelions, technically.
The Perihelions, yeah.
Okay.
But there's a quarter of the city that's basically under the control of the Recollection. They just have to be sneaky about it.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, so I think we see you guys kind of like go into the like the ghetto portion of the city, or like this particular culture lives. and I don't know if we have a name for them yet, but we can come up with one later. Of like the actual like tribe or culture or race or whatever that lives here. But you guys get to a particular like building, and I guess David, tell us what does this orphanage building look like?
Oh yeah, I think it's probably like a I'm trying to think of something besides. I think it's like I'm trying to think of like a weird sci-fi version of what a sawmill would look like, right? Like, I mean, like it probably looks like a mix between a factory and a sawmill, where like on one part there's just giant amounts of piled wood everywhere. Well, there wouldn't be because this is the apocalypse, so it would be something else. It would probably be like a quarry, right? So like there's a big stone hole, like hole of stone in the ground next to this place, and then a whole bunch of like equipment, and then just a big sort of square, all industrial looking building that they've essentially converted to an orphanage so that they can use the kids as labor for the quarry, right? For the stone. So yeah, I think it's basically just a big, mostly windowless, like warehouse looking building.
Very depressing home you have, Easterette. But yeah, so Robbie leads you up to this building, and just kind of like, knocks on the door. And I guess like, some minor functionary kind of opens it and ushers everybody in. But you guys are quickly led to Overseer Omari's rooms. What do they look like? What's your room look like?
I mean, it's probably a different building, in the same like complex, but it was probably like a administrative building for this place. So it's kind of small, but it's much more like office spacey and more comfortable than the rest of the place. But it's been like converted into a really nice. Well, probably not really nice because it's like a modest living space, like a proper house, basically inside. And there's lots, like every plausible entrance, including like any damaged sections of the wall, are all like completely closed off with rebar and stuff. And yeah, it's like no one can break his windows or anything like that.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah. Well, I mean, what do you say who speaks first when this functionary like leads you into this room? Is Harahel still like behind everyone, or did he join everybody again?
I mean, he's not like part of the group right now. Like he formally kind of left the two of them. So he's probably just, I don't know, maybe he's down the hall, like, or outside the window or something. I don't know.
Yeah, do you want to like try to sneak and?
Yeah, I guess.
Just
Well, I'll just say that Iseret like turns and looks at him, and is like, "Oh, Angel friend, you're still here. Do you want to meet my boss? Are you following me around because you have some sort of loyalty to me?
Do you have a life debt that you swore?
Well, that would be
Did
you.
somebody make you to
Saved your
protect me?
life.
Yeah, that's a messed up life debt. I saved your life, and now
Now you're indebted to always save my life forever.
Well, the first time I ever ate, I decided I had to eat for the rest of my life.
I think your parents probably decided that.
Same with drinking water and peeing and pooping and breathing.
I don't think he understands any of those concepts.
I mean, I don't think this conversation is actually happening.
It's not.
This conversation isn't actually happening.
Yeah, what do you say do you want to go meet my boss?
Yeah. But she does actually ask, are you following me around to give some sort of life debt?
Oh, yeah.
Did somebody make you to protect me?
He just says no.
Well, he's just up the stairs here. She skips up along. Come on, friend.
Yeah. Do you just follow Harahel?
Yeah.
Overseer Omari, what do you say when they enter your office or whatever?
Well, yeah. First of all, Amari is dressed in like a black robe, and they are the robe covers just enough like of their shape, and they're just heavy enough that you can't tell if they're a not so curvy woman or just a roly poly guy. I'm not really sure, or I guess a curvy woman or a roly poly guy. Yeah. And yeah, the mask is huge and covers their face entirely except for their eyes. And so yeah, the door opens, and who's the first person at the door?
Probably the minor functionary who is like leading them in, like one of your
Okay.
people that work for you, and then Rebby's probably right behind him, and then Iseret after that, and then Harahel.
Okay. Did the functionary have a name?
Yeah, let's say her name is Ka.
You said?
Ka, as in Ka.
Ka. Okay, yeah. So yeah, he just squints and says, "Can I help you?" Or they, sorry.
Is that your voice?
Yep, that's their voice. Can I help you?
Hi, it's me.
Pack of cigarettes.
Yep.
This is my angel friend. He rescued me from another dimension.
Where have you been? Do you have any idea how many people we had? We were looking for you for weeks.
Look, I wasn't even in the plane of existence.
Hey,
That
I
is
don't
the
even know where
worst
that
excuse
was.
I have ever heard. Listen,
Revy like waves. He's like,
Just last week, somebody said that they had diarrhea, and that's why they were gone for 3 weeks. Are you kidding me? That's the worst. This is the worst excuse you've ever heard.
yes, and they are still confined to barracks, as you will be for a very long time, for at least the same time you were gone. I don't know what your excuse is, but this is unacceptable. You have any idea who has to answer to the elders when they ask where this person has gone and why they're still gone after 2 weeks? That's me. I had to deal with that the whole time you were gone.
I didn't ask you to do that.
No, but you left. This is your fault. And I can't see the angel, right?
I mean, maybe that's when the Harahel like steps up, right? Like,
So yeah, as soon as that happens, they sort of seize a little bit, like, what is that? Are you the reason that she was gone all this time? Maybe to blame. What's that?
Does he not know what a herald is, or do they not know what a herald is?
I think he's just doesn't care. He's not very smart.
you mean they, David?
Well,
Yeah, they.
You mean-
I'm gonna say he because I'm a he, but it's
Yeah,
they
I
don't.
know.
You don't know what it is yet.
Carly, you being a robot, you might not know how social cues work as easily, so you might think that it doesn't know.
Oh,
Like-
yeah, that's probably true.
Since that's what you assumed first, that might be a good idea.
I mean, Rebby probably right away says like,
Right.
Overseer, this is one of the heralds. The,
Yes, I can see that. That is rather clear. Why is it here?
This is like the male version of that lady in Monster saying, "I'm watching you."
Yep, that's what he said. That's what Caleb said.
Oh, that's what Caleb said.
Yeah, he made that quote.
That's what I
definitely
said.
didn't hear that.
No,
Oh,
that was
did you?
Charlie. Yeah.
Oh,
No,
sorry.
okay.
I couldn't tell because of the smooth voice.
Okay.
But I think Harahel just says, I rescued young Iseret from a dark place.
No.
Yes, Rebby says like, Iseret mentioned something about a dimension, and then like looks at you like, please explain.
He just
Iseret.
nods.
Oh yeah. Okay. So I'll tell you the full story. Or no. Okay. This is what she does. She goes, and she jumps up on top of the
His
like
desk or
table or his desk. Yeah.
Oh my God.
And she's like,
He immediately
so
starts
there
like
I
slapping
was.
you and like, you get down from there. Get out.
Easter egg just ignores you and like jumps from the desk on top of something else, like a chair or something. And it's like, I was just minding my own business right here in the city, and then poof, I was gone into another dimension. And there were all sorts of monsters with scary little teeth and claws and going all the time, and they were attacking me. And then all I saw was this angel like in the distance, right? And it was Angel Friend. And Angel Friend saved me. And then after I left, somebody followed me. I don't know. It's some sort of invisible person. It's kind of like an imaginary friend, but it's real, and it broke a lot of stuff. And I think it might have actually hurt somebody, but I can't know for sure. So here I am, and I named it Friend.
So,
it didn't like
so
the name
Connor,
Pet because I smelled burnt bread. What?
As Easterhead is telling this story, you smell like the kind of metallic scent of blood from your friend.
So do you stop talking when that happens?
And just kind of like you're excited while you're telling this story, right? Like, and so you continue feeling that, like, there's not another feeling that comes with the scent of blood, but like it's like this kind of like metallic, kind of almost like rainwater, like metallic rainwatery scent, but it's like kind of like this tangy, like blood kind of
like water with too much iron in it.
Water with too much iron in it, or blood, you know,
Right.
like there's. It's
I mean, that's pretty much
fine
what
line.
it is. It's water with too much iron in it. But yeah,
there's a lot more to it than that.
I know. I'm kidding.
So he did kill someone.
I don't know.
So
he kind of sits down and is like,
as soon as she stops talking, I forgot my own character's name. Hold on. Omari's eyes get they go from being like where you can just barely see the eye to basically shut, and they look at these names are so hard. Harahel, and says, "How much did he pay you to say this? If he paid you in what do we call the dream drug things?"
I don't know.
Or she. I keep doing that. Yeah. Connor, what are your dream drugs called?
What are the dream drugs called? What drug do they give them to, like, you know, do the transcendental dreams, the memory transfers? Like, what's the, like, main drug they use to do that? Or is there a drug at all? Is it like some sort of other process that they use?
I don't know. These are the kind of questions I don't need to answer today. I don't know.
Does anyone have an idea?
I guess like an actual drug that you like consume is kind of cool.
Yeah,
I think it would be fun if they had like, because their things. No, never mind. New Harmony sings music. All right, sorry, never mind.
I mean, technically, music in general is like a theme that a lot of people are using. They also have the theme of music.
I just thought it would be interesting if there were like songs you could meditate on that would put you in a high state, but they don't tell people the songs. You have to like buy the songs to be able to use them, right?
That's awesome. We should definitely use that. So like, yeah, the drug is not. The drug is pure old rock and roll, right?
Yeah,
like
they call them like scripts or something. I don't know.
I'm down with them calling them scripts. That's
okay.
Cool to you, Connor?
Yeah, that sounds good.
All right. So
yeah, and it's like it's almost like a meditation, but almost like a
it's like a guided meditation, but the methods
guided meditation music. Yeah,
secret. And then how you meditate depends on what sort of drug-induced state you go into. So yeah, he says if he paid you in scripts, and he looks over, or she paid you in scripts. She looks over and she says, you're gonna be eating paste for weeks.
I mean, I think Harahel literally just responds, ma'am, I don't have a human mind.
Yeah, they look at you and say, how am I supposed to know how it works? Look, we're going to have to talk about this. And he points at the functionary. Ka, yeah. And and then he looks back at Issa and says, for now, you're confined to the bunk. Go to your room. Don't come out until the labor bells. Okay, you understand me?
And so it's Connor. I think this would be a point where Connor. I think this would be a point where Issa could actually make a roll to like try to persuade Omari that like she's telling the truth and there was something weird that happened to her. But what would you say to like try to actually convince her if you wanted to do that? Technically, you don't have to. You could just go to your bunk.
Well, I guess I understand where you're coming from, but it's just really hard being a little girl who's been abused and yet nobody believes her story.
Yeah, you and every other brat. Come on.
Amari, do you have a little girl?
Yeah, they squint. They're like,
I have 72 little girls. Go to your room.
And one of them is disobeying me right now.
One of them is about to get another week confined to their bunk.
This is already an anime in my mind because that character can only exist in an anime.
yep, it's true. Or as a slug.
Yeah, did you want to make a roll, Connor?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just being difficult. You can make your roll.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna make a roll. I was just looking at
What
like
are you doing exactly?
my moves. I don't know.
Because the
Probably-
like the basic moves are like,
Probably find common ground.
yeah, when you ask someone to work with you, yeah,
Yeah.
Makes sense.
yeah, roll plus sway. You have a 2 in sway.
Give me a second. Okay, I figured out how to do it.
Partial.
Yeah, that'd be an 8. Harsh tokes, my
Alright.
dude. Harsh tokes.
Partial success.
Well, technically that means you succeed. It just sucks.
All right, go ahead and look at the character moves, Connor. Find common ground. 79, their player picks 2, and both must be met. Actually, so David, you need to look at this.
Oh.
So you choose
Sand,
2 of the. It's in character moves, yeah.
See it. Okay.
They'll only do it if blank blank. So 2 of those options.
I'm coming out there. This.
Just work with me here.
I'll
Work
pick a
with me
third
here.
party vouchers for you because you have that already.
Yeah, so Rebby, yeah, or Harahel rather.
That's nice.
You give them something now that's worth it.
Okay, so what do you say to like make that clear to Isra?
Oh right, yeah. I suppose that's a thing. So what was the last thing you said? I'm sorry.
I don't remember.
I think it was basically like, you know, didn't you have a little girl? And then you
Oh,
said,
yeah.
72.
Yeah, I said 2 also.
Yeah. Okay. Well, and I think because the other thing was a third party vouchers for you. There's a moment of silence, and then they look over at. I almost had it. Something hell. Harahel.
Harahel.
Harahel, yeah. And they sigh. And,
Even the sigh of that character is funny.
the
The thing is, I'm gonna have to play this character at some point. And I'm not gonna do it as well as you're doing it.
I'm sure you'll do a good job. I'll probably do a bad job if I try and do it a week from now. I forget how it works. But
Yeah.
anyways, trying to think of what they want. Okay, yeah, it says,
Fine, but you have to tell the elders that you ran away and that this was all your fault and that I had nothing to do with it. If you can convince them that this wasn't on my head and that it wasn't my lack of whatever they said, I don't remember. None of that make any sense. But if you can convince them that it was your fault, then I'll. What was it that you wanted, anyways? I don't even remember. What was it you were trying to get? Not grounded.
Believe
Yeah,
you?
basically not grounded.
Right.
Oh
Right.
yeah. That's what it was. Yeah.
Yeah. And she's-
Convince who? My
so
family?
no,
I don't
like
think I
well,
have a family.
so basically, like the people, her boss, or their bosses.
Yeah, I mean the elders of the recollection, the oracles
Yeah.
and seers that interpret the weird videos and lyrics from the before.
They've been basically bothering them for having lost a child, and saying that it was their fault for not having
paid it, having a good enough security or whatever. That's what they were whining about before. So they're saying if you can
Okay,
convince them that it was your fault and that, basically that was just something they could do about it or whatever.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can do that. I'll just tell them that I killed that guy with the goatee and stole his socks.
What? Wait,
Revy looks at you and says, "Wait a second. You killed," and I have to generate a name really quick. You killed Noor?
Well, of course not.
I know who that is.
He's like someone that's technically part of I think he's part of like a gang that's not technically part of the Recollection, but it's part of the same culture and lives in this ghetto.
Okay. Now, is
So
can
I have a good... Sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to ask if the animation sleeve is visible on you. The animation sleeve or whatever you called it.
Oh yeah, what did you do with your rock thing?
She stole.
Did you take off the animation sleeves?
Oh yeah.
Did, right? Because somebody saw them and asked her about them.
Yeah.
So did she have them on her? Like, could I see them?
Yeah, she probably pulls them out and shows you. Little socks.
Where did you get those? You know what? No, I don't want to know. I don't want to know. Don't tell me. Shh. Hush. Just
and
give them to
Rebby's
the
just
elders,
like shaking his
tell
head
them that you were kidnapped. I don't care. Whatever. Just.
Yeah, I think Rebby like comes up to you, Isra, and then basically just like puts a hand on your shoulder and says, "All right, thank you, Overseer. We're going to go talk to the elders now.
Yes,
we will be out of your hair."
Mm-hmm.
Whoa. Yeah. Okay. So Caleb, this person is like bad gangster person. So like I could have probable cause to have killed this person.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay. I was just gonna say that I found him dead. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with Easter having killed him.
I mean, you could have also just found him dead. I think he was just basically saying, like Rebby was saying, like, "Oh, wait a second, like guy with a goatee who has animation sleeves, like that's that guy."
Okay. Yeah. Animation sleeves. These are socks.
And
Why do you even put these on your arms? That's silly.
Yes, of course. Let's go talk to the elders now. And then he like ushers you out. Are you coming, revered herald?
He just nods and follows them out.
And Rebby looks at you, Isra, and then says, You're serious? This actually happened?
Well, duh. What do you think I am, a fibber?
Yes, Isra, yes. You've lied to me on 16 separate occasions that I can remember. Usually they involve food of some sort.
Well, I don't remember those types of things. Food usually has a way of clearing my head.
And then
emptying it of thoughts.
Yeah, he sighs and then just like shakes his head. Yeah, and I guess you guys like get brought down into the depths of the Recollections like headquarters, right? So down into like the black market or whatever. And you guys end up, I think, in like one of their like big old meditation circles or whatever. This like big old like domes type room in the underground. And you see a whole bunch of like older like people with these really intricate masks, right? All of them are like a bunch of different like artistically really intricate masks, and they're kind of like in a circle like meditating together, and they're listening to basically what amounts to heavy metal music, and they're like in this like trance. This is like really intense, like distorted music.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, and Rebby like leads you in, and I think he says, "I think we should wait for the song to finish."
Sure, that's fine. Why?
They could. Don't you remember why the elders listen to the music, follow the scripts?
I think I just ate something recently, so.
Right, so your mind is blank. And then you think he looks at Harhel too and kind of just explains in general, and he says, the elders, they interpret the music. They interpret the memories that come to them from the music, from from the before and try to see the future, try to see what could be coming for us. It's how we've survived so long. It's how we've gotten to be as powerful as we are. The recollection has survived because of these trances the elders go into. They see our destinies. And I think they could see yours, Iseret.
That was some great exposition. Beautifully played, everyone. Beautiful, wonderful.
And I think the song finally finishes with like one like intense like all the music has cut out at this point. And it's just like the last note is this guy just screaming, and he holds the scream for like 15 seconds, and then it just cuts off abruptly. And it's like it's playing from some like technology that they have in there, right? Some sort of like stereo or whatever. And then it just suddenly stops, and then as one, all of the elders like just look at you, Iseret, and one of them says, "Who has entered our meditation circle?"
Me, friend, angel friend, and Rebby. Sometimes I call him Reb.
Yes, revered ones, we have come because, well, Iseret has something that she needs to tell you, an experience that she underwent, a memory she has to share. And then, like, you can see that all the elders, like, perk up at that because they're like, oh, a memory.
Which one? I look up at Reb.
The one about the
one where I killed the guy, or the one about the...
Well, that too, but mostly, like, the thing about the dimension.
Oh, the dimension. Okay, yeah. Okay, so... Alright, so I was sitting in my room, right? I was just chilling. And then I got kidnapped by, I don't know. And I was in a dimension, and everything was dark and scary and spooky and teeth and claws, and there's monsters chasing me, and it was crazy. But then Angel Friend came, and he was like, back off, demons. This is my kid, and save me. And somewhere along the way, an invisible friend followed me. I used to call him Pet, and now I call him Friend, because the smells that he gave me were kind of, and so he liked Friend a lot better. I think he's a guy, but I can't really tell because I can't see him. Can you guys see him? I can't see him. He can destroy stuff, though. You want me to have him destroy some stuff? Hey, Friend, can you destroy some stuff? Just kind of show them that you're here.
I mean, do you want to do the weird stare? Or no, you want to roll with set your monster loose?
I could do that. That might end up with some very bad things happening.
So this is the thing, though. What's happening, though, is the scent returned to you as you told the story, right? The scent of blood. Mm-hmm. This metallic scent of blood. And then when you say that, you can sense that that friend is like just he's on the chains and like just like let's go. I want to do something.
Friend?
I mean, do you roll lore to give it your orders?
No. That smell scares me.
And right away, you smell a vinegar again.
Friend, are you okay?
And you sense basically the smell that comes to you is like a sickeningly sweet smell.
Mm-hmm.
Like yeah.
Friend, that's not good. And I think she gives Friend like a little speech from like one of the movies she's seen. It's like, you don't want to hurt people.
Fish are friends, not food.
I literally thought of that, and I was like, I can't say that. No, you know what? No, I can. People are friends, not food.
This was from the creepy version of that movie where Nemo was a young boy and a giant monster ate all of his siblings. Yeah.
Well, no, I was just
a lot darker.
She's getting her morality from finding Nemo, but she's just she understands the whole fish and people difference.
Right.
I don't think I've ever seen a fish before.
So did you you just stop? You don't actually?
Yeah. Well,
release him?
the elders never said that they wanted to see it.
Yeah, I mean,
I
you
was
probably
just
had
going
that
on about.
that little bit of a conversation, and then
Right.
I think finally one of them says to you. Actually, I think they look at you, Harahel, and they say, Harold, can you vouch for this girl's story? Is what she says correct?
It is. Well, I
And
don't know about the friend she speaks of, but I rescued her from dark dimension.
Then I think she starts petting friend.
Rebby looks at you and just seems really uncomfortable. And I think one of the elders says to you, Harahel, and by dark dimension, do you mean?
Not sure.
And then to kind of trail off, and I think you know what it means, Harahel. There's I think people are starting to understand what the dark dimension is, whatever this place is, because it started to seep into so many different things.
Okay, so what they're talking about is what I experienced?
Yeah.
Okay. Then,
Hey, does anybody know what happens if I put on these socks? Do I get some like my hands and arms will do things that I don't want them to do, or brains?
Rebby just puts a hand over your mouth.
So I have a question. What kind of communication methods exist in this setting, especially specifically for these people? Do they have
these people?
phones?
No, probably not.
Okay.
Yeah, if anyone has comms devices, it's probably radio.
Okay. So could I attempt to communicate with them via radio?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Then yeah, I do that. I I tune into their frequency or whatever, that official frequency.
Mm-hmm.
And then what would I refer to them as as a group if I was just trying to get their attention? Elders or
yeah, the elders, the council, probably something like that. Maybe not the council. Honestly, the official name for them, elder, is probably a respectful way to refer to them, but their actual official title is probably the seers or the oracles. One of those.
Okay, yeah. So he says, "Excuse me, oracles. It's Overseer Omari. Can I have a moment, please?"
Yeah, and I think one of them I think it comes over like a speaker that's in the room, and I think one of them presses a button that's next to them on a console and then says, "Yes, Overseer, you may speak."
Oh, thank you. Is Easterette there?
Yes, she is.
Great. And she explained to you that her disappearance, right, and how it was magical and there was nothing I could do about it, right? Explained that it was her fault and the angel and things. Yeah.
We are
everything
having a
was my
discussion
fault.
about it.
Did I
Okay,
do it okay?
make a sway roll, Connor. You're.
Oh. Yeah.
This is probably diffuse instead of find common ground though. This is just basically to get Omari off the hook.
So what is that? Let's do.
So it's diffuse. It's de-escalate a tense situation with sway. So you're just rolling sway.
Okay, yeah. That's not horrible.
9. Okay. On a 7 to 9, you've bought some time, but choose one. There's a cost to securing safety. The danger will soon return, or the danger still present but threatening someone or something else.
Yeah, let's go. The danger's still present, but threatening someone or something else.
Right.
Well, in this case, that would mean it was threatening someone besides me, right? Since that's who it's
exactly.
Right now.
So
okay, I like that answer.
I'm trying to think of who it would.
Actually, no. I think I want to do this a cost of securing safety, which will be I have to let loose friend.
to prove it.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
yeah. I think one of them turns to you and says, "We still do not believe her story. So until we are given proof of what she says beyond the word of a forgotten herald," and it's obvious there's some tension in the room between like the people who view the heralds with good for good, or the people who view the heralds as bad. Yeah. And he says, "Then you are not off the hook yet, Omari."
I'm sure she can prove it, right? Right, Easter egg, you there? Hello?
Yeah. This is the best part of this session so far. Is this character?
Okay. And so, yeah, Easter egg kind of looks to friend and it's like, friend, please don't hurt anybody. I only killed that one guy because he was hurting other people. These people here, they're not hurting anybody. So please, I want you to. Anybody have a cup? Or maybe something bigger, like a bowl or a table?
And then you see that there's there's the big old stereo in the middle of the room that they were using to play the metal music.
Well, that's probably pretty important to them, isn't it?
Probably.
Yeah.
But it's the most obvious thing that you could destroy right now.
No, anything else? I feel like Easter egg understands. First of all, she has +2 lore, so she understands the culture of her people, and I don't. She's trying not to get into trouble right now. So
Yeah, so I mean, I guess like the oracles just start looking at each other like, oh, what, a bowl, like what? And then I think Rebbe like sighs and he reaches into his pack and he pulls out like I guess I'm trying to think what he would have in his like backpack that he could pull out. Maybe it's just some like parts that he had scavenged, some like scrap metal or something he had scavenged from the wasteland. And he just, like,
oh, that's perfect. People can't rip this in half, but friend can. It's like, all right, friend.
Bars and metal and stuff. Yeah.
I'm gonna throw this up in the air, and I want you to rip it to shreds. Okay? The smaller the pieces, the better. But just don't hurt anybody. She throws it up in the air.
Roll plus lore.
Someone's gonna die.
Can't be me, so it's okay.
Sir.
So the thing is, I was realizing what this move actually does, Connor. It's when you set your monster loose, you give it your orders and roll plus lore. On a 10+, manifest both tricks and one problem. On a 7 to 9, use one trick and both problems. So technically, by the rules, nobody can see it. Only happens when you activate it.
Oh.
But I mean, we've already basically, decided in.
Maybe we can have it be where no one can see it unless it like maybe it doesn't have a visual presence of itself, but when it acts on the world, there's a very obvious effect. But it doesn't have
unless
that.
she gets the option to So maybe it's like everyone can like smell the smells, but then so maybe everyone has been smelling these smells the whole time, but they've just been like, what? Like they obviously don't understand what's going on. But then basically what it can do is just like disappear.
Do I smell things?
I don't know. Do you?
I don't know. I mean,
Up
I
to
don't
you.
have a nose, but I also don't have eyes, and somehow I can see.
Yeah, I mean, it would basically be like do you have some sort of artificial way to sense?
Yeah, you have olfactory senses. They're just literally sensors.
That makes sense to me. So you've been probably smelling things this whole time.
Yeah.
Yeah. But obviously nobody understands why, like what that
I
means.
just figured she was farting. It's fine.
But so you got 7 to 9.
Biology.
Easter eggs
so
kind
you
of stinky.
use one trick and both problems. So obviously it can deal out a monstrous beating is the trick you're using, right? You're trying to get it to beat up this thing. But both problems manifest.
So it's jealous and it has lots of friends, or the way it's listed on this sheet. But I know it's like
Right.
it's jealous of your relationships and it attracts other monsters.
Right.
So basically, what happens
No.
is so first describe to me how it obliterates. Describe to me how it obliterates the metal or whatever. Like, what does it look like when it does this to the metal? Do we get the like literally anime sword move where it's like it cuts it a million times
Like
and then it all falls apart?
Well, Connor, go ahead. Sorry. Never mind. I don't
Well,
even-
no, go ahead and say what you're going to say. I have an idea in my head, so.
I was gonna say I like the idea that it falls onto the ground and it looks like absolutely nothing happened, and then someone kicks it and it's just like so many pieces that it literally didn't even move when they cut it. Like it's in 100 pieces, but it looked like nothing happened.
Do we, Caleb, how powerful is this thing?
It can deal out a monstrous beating. It's pretty
So-
powerful.
It's pretty vague, but that sounds monstrous to me.
So I'm gonna say it's kind of it's a slow descent. So it's thrown up into the air, and you see there's one cut, and it
Mhm.
like there's like 3 claw marks, and it like splits into 3 pieces, and then it just gets like the one piece like folds in half and like gets ripped apart into pieces, and the other 2 like get slashed into like smithereens, and it just like sprinkles onto the ground, and then something else breaks, and then the stereo breaks and explodes, like not explodes but like shatters everywhere and
Yeah.
just like little
Ow.
smithereens.
Farahell's
And then-
instant eyes widen.
And then other
Yeah.
things start breaking in the room at the same time.
Yeah, like the lights break. Like I think some of the oracle's masks crack.
Yeah. But so I'm
Um,
assuming, and that was me describing that the friends have come, right? And so
Yeah.
everything starts breaking at the same time.
Yeah.
Like,
I think it's
yeah,
funny.
okay.
Like the last thing to break is the stereo, and then it cuts to the overseer and just holding their radio like hello.
Right. But the thing is, I think what happens lastly though is
Yeah, I didn't mean like the end of the episode, just that it would be funny.
No, I know.
Okay.
I meant like lastly of with this whole turn of events is both Rebby and Harahel get hurt by this thing
Okay.
because it's
Yeah, I
jealous
was
of your
wondering.
relationships. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think let's see how to harm stuff work.
Goodness gracious.
But I'm curious, what would a failure look like? Because I would expect something. Because that sounds pretty like everyone getting injured seems like a failure to me. But I'm curious, maybe I'm just thinking about it wrong.
Well, it basically it's like a failure with consequences.
Right.
Because his goal, right, was to his intent was to prove that she's telling the truth, right? And she's going to do that, but they're also going to be angry about all the stuff that went wrong, right?
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay.
Yeah. So I guess, and most of this is just going to be basically be narrative because I don't think either of these characters can actually be hurt because you basically just take a point of harm.
Right.
So for
Yeah, would destructive just make more sense than it's jealous?
what's the
Do you
option?
want to switch that around for Tannerin reasons? So it's jealous and it has lots of friends. It has lots of friends makes sense. It's jealous. It is destructive. That's what we just decided. Like this whole scene, right? Like you've been,
Can we
I've
that
been
instead?
smelling blood the whole time. All those types of things.
Yeah,
Do
you
you
can
want to
change
just
it.
make it destructive instead?
That's fine.
Like it can still
It's up to you.
have harms the other two, which makes sense. That's like already one of its like negatives is that it's destructive. We already just decided
Sure.
that, so
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think like everyone just gets minorly like there's just like like cuts that appear on like a couple people's like faces.
The
Right.
others start trying to like voice these things down.
Just out of curiosity. If they're getting attacked, would
Uh,
they like use their cutting words?
I think it all happens so quickly after the breaking of the things, right?
Mm.
Like
Mhm.
it's basically like one more burst, and then everyone has just a bunch of shallow lacerations everywhere.
Okay, let's
like,
let's
like,
let's
you know,
let's do it like this.
paper
So
cuts and stuff.
My metal
right,
gets
so
scraped
so
up.
the metal
Yeah.
gets thrown into the air, and just one cut, and then it falls to the ground, and then it gets thrown up again, and it goes, and then
Yeah,
it gets
yeah.
shattered, and then everybody's like,
All the stuff
"Well,
starts
that was
breaking, yeah.
weird," and then everything starts breaking at once. So then it's like
Yeah.
it's like a little horror movie scene.
And the scent of
like-
blood is so strong in everyone's nostrils
Yep, that's what I
that it's
figured.
like
Yep.
overpowering. Like I think, and then after this all happens, and there's one last like blast of like energy, and then everybody has like, you know, shallow cuts all over them. I think a couple of I think Rebby just like vomits like to the side because the smell of blood is so strong to him, and he's just like you know, like off to the side because it's just like so overpowering. And there's a moment of like just like what just happened, and you know, some of these elders, their masks are cracked and stuff, right? And it's like it's just a moment of silence. Like what do you say, Iseret or Harahel or someone, right? Like
I mean, can I make
Easteret's probably
another?
screaming to a friend to stop.
oh yeah, you start screaming during that process,
Yeah.
like stop, and finally that happens, yeah. And I think Iseret, you could sense that like more showed up, like it had
Right.
friends, like you knew.
But do I know that they're gone now?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's
Basically
terrifying.
what your friend did is they used you as a conduit to like open up a small rift in the dimension and bring some friends through. But then you sealed it up again when you were like, no, like stop.
Oh my goodness.
It's a neat trick.
Okay, so can I make another lore roll to see, based on what I know now, if I can put anything together of like what this might be? Or would that be a different roll?
Let's see here. I think there
With
might
like
be
the smells and it being invisible and stuff like that.
Yeah, let me double check the moves. Here we go. Because Unearthed Forgotten Lore, though, too, it doesn't really... It's not going to give you a whole lot more information, just asking those same questions. So I'm trying to look at other stuff.
Yeah.
Story moves. Maybe we want... No. Maybe that's the only move here that
Maybe
makes sense.
the well, I guess that would be. Oh, never mind. That's just a.
Yeah, I think it would be Unearthed Forgotten Lore again. So just go ahead and roll that again. Roll
Okay.
lore.
I mean, I specifically was reading the information is power thing under the peripheral.
Yeah, information is power is like a family move though.
Right. Okay.
And so that's well, information power specifically is when your character draws on your family's research, spend a point of data, and get an advantage on a roll. But basically kind of what's going to be happening here is Harahel is probably going to be gathering data through Unearthed Forgotten Lore and asking some questions, and then he's going to go back to his family, and then it'd be like,
right, yeah.
We need to figure out what this is,
Yeah.
right? So yeah, just go ahead and roll lore again. Oh, that's a fail. Okay, so Let me look at my GM moves here. So I think what happens, Harahel, is you're trying to figure out what this is, right? And I think you're probably using like all your sensors and whatnot, and like kind of like paying attention to like, wait a second, these powers are coming. Like I can sense this, and you realize they can sense you back, and it's like you can sense and kind of like in your mind's eye these claws reaching for you, and then right before they like harm you, they're sucked back wherever they came from. But now you know, Harahel, you have this uneasy feeling in the back of your mind and the scent of blood obviously choking your olfactory senses, and you know they know who you are and they will be watching you. Like you've just been marked. You become marked for the Tanneran.
Mike Wazowski. Always. Omari was the demon all along.
Yeah, so basically it's like you've just targeted yourself.
Oh, great.
So I do have to
Yeah.
ask, Omari, are you a guy or a girl?
I don't know. When I said I wanted it to be ambiguous, I decided not to. I mean, I'm leaning towards guy because that's what I kept calling him, because that's what I am. But that kind of also makes me want to not be guy. So I don't know.
Yeah. We won't know yet.
Sounds like you're confused.
Yep. I mean,
But
they're
so
not
Iseret,
confused, but everyone else is.
that all happens, right? And the oracles are like shocked and just like staring, and you're like probably holding up your arms like, no, stop, like after and finally it happens. The smell of blood, you can handle it, like you don't like get nauseous or whatever, but it's very strong. Yeah, what do you do?
That wasn't supposed to happen.
And I think you accomplished what you wanted, right? Like you accomplished the
Yeah.
convincing them, and I think one of them says, like, I think one of them like looks at you, and then you can see like through the crack in their mask, like this elderly woman, right? And she says, "Child, we need your memories."
I think something primal in Iseret triggers, and she runs.
Okay.
That sounds terrifying to her. And she's gonna have her memories stripped. She's seen Star Wars.
So this is the thing, Iseret, you know how this works. They can copy your memories. They don't have to take them.
Oh.
This is basically what they're asking is like, whoa, what you saw is important. We need to know. We need to interpret it. We need to go into the musical trance and like find out what you know, because it will tell us the future.
Okay. Okay, that makes more sense.
Yeah. And you have like two lore, so you know that.
Okay. All right, that's not so scary. Yeah, I think Iseret just says, okay. It's like the first time you've seen her take something seriously this whole time. She just says.
Yeah.
Okay. Or I guess not taking something seriously, because she is taking everything seriously, but now she's afraid.
Mm-hmm.
She's not confident.
Yeah.
And I think she stops talking to Friend for a while, and she like knows where he is and just keeps glancing over at him. Like she can't actually see him, but like just isn't saying anything. What do I smell from him after all of this? Still just blood?
I mean, for a while, yeah. I mean, what do you say to him?
Nothing. Literally
Nothing
nothing.
at all. Eventually, the blood smell fades, and you smell vinegar, but it's like it's compared to the strong scent of blood, it's so minor that like you barely notice it. It's like just this tiny hint of vinegar.
This is terrifying.
Yep, having a demon as a pet was a terrifying thought. Good job.
I thought this would go more in my favor.
Oh, it will. you should be aiming at your enemies.
Not your boss's boss.
Yeah. So basically, yeah, they gather you into the meditation circle. They get another stereo, right? They get another thing for music. And I think the elderly woman who was talking to you earlier, like, walks over. And I think, like, some of them, you can tell that some of the oracles are mad that their masks cracked, because these are, like, priceless pieces of art.
Right.
But mostly, I think they all understand, right? Like, some of the more frivolous members are, like, up in arms about it. But most of them are like, oh, this is important. Like, we need to know what this is.
So it's more just like, okay, this 11-year-old girl has no idea what's going on. We're not mad at her. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And so I think you're brought into this.
Well, I was just gonna say that, like, for the scene where that's all happening, I bet the most chilling part is just hearing Easter eggs screaming, right? Because it's like,
yeah. So I think Easter egg is brought into the center of the meditation circle, and they get, like, new speakers and stuff and reinstall things. But they basically, the elderly woman says to you, actually, I think one of the elderly woman first, after they're kind of, like, getting you set up in the middle, goes over to Harahel and says, "Revered Herald," this elderly woman is talking to you, Harahel. "Revealed Herald, I hesitate to ask this, but you say that you rescued Iseret from that place. Yes?
That is correct.
Would you offer your memories as well? We would know as much as possible about the threat that this poses, and what our family can do about it."
What is the actual process by which they collect memories? Because
it's like a whole musical. It's magic, basically. Ultimately, it's like they use music to draw out memories from someone. Basically, they use, like, this music trance to get someone to think about the memory or relive it, and then other members of them use, like, harmonies to copy the memories into their own brains.
It's like a multi-person script or something.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Basically, it's like they have the one person singing a melody that is, like, getting, like, inducing a dream, basically, in the subject who's the memories are trying to be drawn out of. And then another person will sing a harmony to that melody, and they'll copy the memory from that person's brain into their own.
okay, so I think he says, "I don't believe I can allow that, with all due respect, and to be fair, I don't know how well it would work."
Okay. So
Iseret goes over to Harahel and just kind of, like, tugs at his clothes, right? And just
robes,
like,
Yeah, I mean, he has long robes, so.
right, okay, yeah, I wasn't sure because you're a robot, Anyway, so
He honestly doesn't look a lot like a stereotypical robot. Like, his skin kind of looks more just, like, sleek and, like, I mean, obviously he has no face, but, like, he
That's
doesn't
fair.
look
Yeah.
super robotic. He looks very humanoid.
okay, yeah, so Easter just goes over and kind of tugs on your robe and is like, "I don't want to do this alone."
I mean, that sounds like a sway roll. Is that
Yeah.
something that
Yeah.
Easter egg could do?
Yeah.
Harahel? Okay. So find common ground when you ask someone to work with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really like the relationship that's developing between Easter egg and Harahel. Okay, success. So that means on a 10+, you choose 2 and the GM chooses 1.
No.
Or no, sorry, I'm looking at the wrong thing.
10+, they pick
They
one.
pick 1. Sorry, I was looking at the wrong move.
I would say they can back out as soon as it costs them. That'd probably be the smart thing to do.
Hmm.
Or their faction/family gets one treaty on you.
That would
Yeah.
make
That
sense.
might make
honestly.
that would make sense too.
Because
Yeah.
that's
Oh,
one of,
yeah.
that's the main reason that he doesn't want to allow them to like see memories. He's like, oh, what if they can access more than I want to allow them,
Yeah.
and then they know
And so basically,
about
it's like you owe the Forgotten Heralds. Like
Right.
you owe them. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Dang. Yeah, I'm okay with that. That makes sense. Yeah, so Easter is just like
I'll mark
Save
that
me.
on the factions sheet.
okay. Easter Ed says, "You saved me once before. Can you do it one last time?"
Cool.
Harhel
One last
kinda
time,
hesitates
she's-
for a second, and he's like looking down at her, and I mean, yeah, he hesitates, and then he's like, I suppose we can try.
Cool.
You get the kind of the faintest of like a smile in her afraid like state, and then she's like, and then she like turns to walk away with the elders, and then she kind of turns back and is like, "Also, I'm really cold. Can I have all your clothes? Your robes look like a nice big blanket."
All my clothes.
Well, isn't that all you're wearing? Is the robe?
I mean, not necessarily.
Okay, so she takes out the word "all." It just says, "Can I have your clothes?"
he takes off like his
An
outer
outer-
robe,
yeah.
and just like puts it over. her
Does he tear
shoulders.
it? Sorry.
He's not in mourning or weeping over his sins.
Easter Ed says, "My feet are kind of cold too, but I'm really afraid to put on those socks in case, I get possessed by some sort of ancient magic thing. I think I can deal with some cold feet." Isn't that a synonym for something? Or a eulogy? Or metaphor?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, that.
Okay, yeah, so you guys get put into the center, and the singing begins. And basically the role here is probably... let me think about this. I think the move that you guys make is a... diffuse. Basically, it's just like, the danger to yourself, and I think it's literally like, especially for Israt, like reliving these memories could be detrimental to her, because they're honestly horrifying, right? The place there, like opening yourself up to that again, is horrifying. But I think actually what happens is Israt, you're making a diffuse roll, and what's his face? Harahel can aid you if you
He doesn't
fail.
have a face.
He has a face. He's just not. It's just nothing on it.
I'm making a what roll?
I think you don't have to make a roll yet.
Oh, okay.
I think Israt is making the roll, and if she fails, like it is going to be damaged by this thing, you can step in and help her.
Okay.
Is the idea. So I think you're rolling with steel, probably.
Probably. That really
Easter egg?
sucks, though.
Yeah.
Well,
Okay, 7. On a 7 and 9, okay, but on a, let's see. After failing to roll as well as you'd like, say what another character nearby can do to boost your efforts. If the group agrees, the helper says how they do it and roll an appropriate stat. So go ahead and roll, I guess, steal yourself, Harhel.
So is that just 2d6
Um,
plus my steal?
Yeah,
she can
2d6
she
plus
can
2.
get an advantage on the
If
roll
they have
because she
relevant
has
backstory
relevant
with you. Yep.
backstory.
So we take advantage. So roll 3d6. You will take the 2 highest of the 2d6 rolls.
So I do 3d6 plus my steal.
3d6
stat?
plus your steal.
Okay.
Yep.
Whatever that is. Plus 1. Oh, that. No. Hold on.
Okay, so wow. So you got a 12. Yeah, you definitely succeed.
Nice.
Cool.
Oh my goodness.
So that means
It goes up to a full success then.
yeah, full success. Yeah. So the situation is safe unless changed significantly. So you
Well, that's a good
relive
thing I asked you to help.
yeah. You relive these memories, Easterette, and they're traumatic, right? You're sweating. You're this meditation song is
Then
being
Hara
sung
has
around you. What do you say?
But then Harahel comes in and saves you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
just
literally.
like
I think
last time.
what's yeah, exactly. What literally happens, right, is Easterette. You're reliving the memories again.
Mhm.
And this would be the point in the memory where you're about to just be devoured by Tannerin, and then we see a shot of Harahel. Like, would you be holding her hand?
Probably.
Yeah, and we just see Harahel like squeeze your hand, right, and then he appears in the memory, right, and saves you again.
Mhm.
Because we see like Easterette like like shaking like while she's reliving the memory, and then Harahel just squeezes her hand, and then you're like, okay. And once the song is over, the oracles like look at each other and they're like, oh wow, like and then the elderly woman who talked to you before says, thank you, child. We have much to uncover, many secrets to think about. I think you have a destiny ahead of you, a powerful destiny. I don't think you'll be going back to the orphanage.
You hear that, Amari?
You broke the radio.
Yeah, and basically the assumption is, right, like, okay, you're gonna like work for us now, sort of a thing, right? Which honestly might trigger a roll move with you.
Yeah. Well, what was her roll
For
right
what?
now?
Her roll right now is outsider because she
Oh, yeah.
was,
What
That's
does
true.
that mean?
You know how you picked a roll, not OLLROLE.
Oh.
Character.
So Connor,
Okay.
question. I think maybe what we'll do with Easterette next, and so you technically, I don't think. Well, I guess you can mark it now. But basically, what this will mean is for the next time that Easterette comes on, maybe what if we marked agent? Right?
Okay, yeah,
Mark
makes
when
sense.
you are sent against monsters. State 2 facts about them. The GM will secretly decide which one is true, and
Ooh,
have
this is
them
good.
basically send you to go kill some Tannerin or something, right? Like,
That's so legit.
and we can figure out exactly what the monsters mean, but basically they're gonna send you on some sort of mission.
Yeah, I'm so down.
Okay. So we'll go ahead and mark agent, and when you change roles, add 1 to a stat or get a new move.
Wait, what?
When you
Oh.
change roles, add 1 to a stat or get a new move.
Ooh.
And this is how this game is supposed to work. Like, advancement happens quickly. Like, the ages, like these characters live, burn hard, and then die. So
They burn bright.
Yeah.
And fast.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with those who love me and choose a cult that reveres you.
Oh my gosh.
They're one quality.
Yeah.
They are 1 quality followers with 5 loyalty. When you suffer harm in their presence or they lose loyalty, you can instead lose 1 loyalty when you spend quality time with them. Recover 1 loyalty.
Or they lose
Or
quality.
when they lose quality.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. That doesn't sound as powerful as getting a deadly game.
I think they
No
lose
one
quality.
ever needed to teach you the rules.
So basically, Connor, what that means though is like you technically have 1 quality followers that like don't go away. Because usually 1 quality followers, if they get hit once, they're down.
Yeah, because
right?
quality is also their health, right?
So basically, you have 5 health for them.
And you can regen
Okay,
their
that
health.
makes sense. Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah, so you have a cult who reveres you.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Wow. So basically, they see you as like the wellspring of destiny. They're like, this girl is gonna lead us to the future. Like,
Can it just be all the people at the orphanage, all the kids at the orphanage? Just have an army of children.
Well, yeah. What is the cult that reveres you? Is it literally like, because this is like a particular group of people? Is it the kids at the orphanage?
What? No, it's the elders.
It can't be the elders because this is like quality followers that come with you. So the elders can revere you as like a child of destiny, but you have like a specific group of people that like actually like will do what you say.
I don't want it to be the children of the orphanage just because I think that would be an obnoxious storyline.
Especially if they're all like Easter eggs.
Yeah. No, I don't. I don't think Easter egg likes kids. I think Easter egg thinks kids are stupid. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Easter egg's like, these kids are so like innocent and small.
Yeah, we can talk about what the cult that springs up around this is later. So yeah.
I mean, I think it's just the elders send people with me, right? Like they're lackeys.
Yeah.
But
sure.
yeah. I don't want to subject everybody to having a group full of kids follow us around. 1 is enough. 1 is certainly enough.
Yeah.
Okay. Is that game then?
Yeah. I mean, I think we basically kind of start wrapping up. I think the what?
I was just saying, seems like a good spot.
Yeah. I think the last thing that I am curious about, though, I think what I might.
Gotta find out what happens to Amari.
Well, that's what I was literally just thinking.
I don't think they're that important.
I think I want one last thing with her, him, whoever.
Yeah.
And you're like, you've been like looking at the radio for a while. And you're like, well, it doesn't obviously work, and you're like sitting in your office or whatever you're doing. And suddenly you smell smoke.
Yeah. So they look around like, but it's light on fire.
Yeah. And you don't see anything.
Yeah, I think they get up. They're like, Easter egg, is that you? I know it's you. Come out.
Yeah, and maybe you go and like try to like look under your desk or something like that, like somewhere she might be hiding. And the smell starts to like overpower you.
Mm-hmm.
And then you feel more than see some force pressing at your mind. And you hear music. You hear this beautiful choir of music. What do you do?
That's nice.
What?
What do you do?
I mean, how debilitating is it?
It's more like you're entranced by it than anything.
Okay.
But like, yeah, how would you respond to this kind of like soothing?
Yeah, if it's entrancing, they probably just react in the same way that they would do instinctively when using sort of the kinds of scripts that make it so they don't have to sleep, So they probably just sit down in like a meditative pose and start humming to the music, even though it smells like fire. Obviously not really present.
Mm-hmm. So what do you want? Because I think what we're going to do here is you're going to roll an Unleash Power roll. When you find a device, the GM gives you a few clues to what it can do. When you use the device, say a thing you want it to do based on the clues and roll plus lore. So I think the few things that you know about this, beautiful music is that
it can make you stronger.
Okay.
Or like, like the clues are like, it seems to be giving you strength, like it is empowering you in some way.
Right.
And the other clue would be it is calling you somewhere.
Okay. And so based on that, I can decide something that it does.
Yeah. What do you want it to do when you tap into the music?
Oh. What would Amari want? Honestly, I mean, I think they just want to like basically have a cushier life. So they probably want, like, I think they want to be an elder, basically what they want, right? So
Yeah.
I think
You want to be given the power to
yeah, because like I mean they're
see the
reduced
future.
to like bullying around children, which is
Yeah.
demeaning. So they want to
Because
be able to have
I think
real
what's happening,
like
right, is
authority.
like I think you think maybe Omari like, oh, is this what happens when someone becomes an oracle? Like they hear this music
Yeah,
and then
like I'm
suddenly
being
like their
called.
mind is open. Yeah. Okay. Roll plus lore.
Oh boy. Don't remember if I'm any good at this or not. I don't think I am. No, but it was 0. This is not negative. 8.
8. Okay.
Has anybody failed yet?
Yeah. Carly failed once.
Okay, I was gonna say we had a pretty chill, like, I mean, like as far as usually we fail at the right and the world just goes to pot in one session. So like we're doing pretty well.
If this was a one shot, I'm sure it would have.
Exactly. Yeah, their world would have been gone by now.
That's why I had Carly Harahel be targeted and marked by the Tannerin instead of being devoured by them.
Right. I mean that's
with
fair.
that failed roll.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so on a 7 to 9, pick 2. The device does exactly what you wanted.
Right.
The device can be used again. You don't rouse other devices in your environment, or you avoid the device's side effects.
Well, I definitely don't want to avoid side effects. So, I'm trying to think. I mean, like, okay, what would it mean if it could do it again? Like, what would that look like?
Basically, it's not a one-stop shop. Like, because what is actually happening is the Tannerin are reaching out to you. And basically, it's like you establish some sort of connection that you can call upon again. If you don't choose that option, it's like, oh wait, they give you some power, and then you're sealed off from it.
Okay, so like I could call on later for more power, for presumably again another roll. Okay, so I think that one, and also it does what I want, so that I do attract other devices. I do get affected by side effects, right?
Okay. Yeah, so I think what happens, is these Tannerin that were trying to use Easterette as a conduit,
right?
They find you a much better conduit because you're one that is letting them through.
Yeah.
And I think, you rouse other devices in the environment. That's the idea, right? Like, so some kind of like, and again, basically, it's like friend, Connor's friend,
right? Yeah,
is he called like other baby Tannerin, other like formless Tannerin.
Yeah,
and that's kind of what is. And now, they're like they're kind of they're seeping into the reality through you, but again, they're still formless. They're still kind of like ephemeral, and they're not even as form. They don't even have as much of a form as friend does.
Right.
It's just kind of like energy now. But they have a hold on this location. So this part of Nadir is going to be starting to get a little weirder because of your conduitness.
Can't wait for Omri to become the bad guy and to be the main boss at the end.
Oh my gosh, no.
And the device's side effects for you personally, right, are like I think I'm trying to think. Give me an idea, David. What would be something that would actually be that Omari wouldn't want to happen?
Right. Well, I mean,
Right?
like,
What would constitute like a bad side effect for her or him or
I
whoever?
think though, I mean, like, the whole point is of wanting to have power is to, or for them is to, you know, basically, I mean, their whole point is they don't want to be in trouble on questions. So, like, I
Yeah.
feel like if they had power but they weren't comfortable, it would be basically pointless for them. Like, they
Yeah.
wouldn't
So I
feel
think maybe it's like
satisfying.
literally you constantly have some sort of like feeling of discomfort. Like
Yeah.
no matter where how you sit, right? Like there's always like an aching just in your
I think
joints.
I
Or
like the idea that
Mhm.
they always have that scent around them, and it just is unsettling and annoying. And
Yeah.
the longer that it's just constantly there, the worse they hate it,
Yeah.
and
Yeah. It's
it just
basically
makes
like
them uncomfortable no matter
yeah,
where they're
yeah.
at.
It you literally everywhere you go, you live in a smoker's room now, right?
Yeah.
Like
Right, exactly.
like you can't get away from this smell of cigarettes, sort of a
Mhm.
thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think
You would hate
probably
that.
we see that sort of visualized by them like coughing, right? They start to like hack a little bit
Yeah.
at the end of whatever happens to make them get what they want, you know?
Yeah, and I think, and then you obviously tap into this music, and I think what we kind of see off screen is Omari goes to the oracles and then says, I can see the future now, and she's like tentatively like gone, like they run her through some trials and like kind of test her to see if she really can, and you can, but you're gonna be an undue influence on the oracles.
Great. Awesome.
Yeah. And I think the last thing I want to do is just zoom out.
Mhm.
Because I think Connor, as the recollection, has to make a family roll quick to basically know what the future actually is, right? Like for them to actually like use the secrets they gain from these memories and like
Right.
push forward.
And then we do the roles for the people who weren't there the next time, right? Presumably because they weren't there. That's the whole idea. Or no, because they can be not in scene but present for the game. So
yeah,
would we do
we would do that now, I think.
Okay. For next game or afterwards?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So I'm just trying to find the story moves real quick. I guess I have them up here. So when you zoom out, when events move from zoomed-in scenes to the bigger picture and actions covering weeks and months become more important, each player whose main character wasn't involved picks one. They found a new place in their family. So this is for Beruz, as we're doing this. They found a new place in their family. They went scavenging in the wasteland. They scouted for information. They helped out another family or faction, or they discovered a new danger. And there's like mechanical benefits to each of those. This is in story moves.
Okay. What's the mechanical benefit to scavenging and to information?
They went scavenging in the wasteland, add 1 tech to their family's stock, or they scouted for information, describe a lead that might give you a new surplus or remove a need, and you get 1 data.
Okay, that's kind of what I was thinking. Made the most sense.
Okay. Yeah, describe a lead.
Like to get a lead on. I had engineering, defenses, and what was the last one that I have a thing for?
Engineering, defenses, and
like progress or something.
Progress, yep, that's what it was.
Okay, I gotta look.
It's like your knowledge of science.
Oh yeah. Weird. And engineering is like my stuff is falling apart, and I may or may not have an answer for defense already because of Jared.
Yeah.
So I'll say the engineering one. So, I know that there's like a lot of weird, like vague stuff that the that Azimuth can do. Like I know that you can like consult the ghosts of the thing, but that's a move I don't have. But I was thinking that basically he would be trying to delve into the less explored and unknown parts of Azimuth to try and find answers to things, because we're trying to find answers to how Azimuth works, right? Because Azimuth is our technology. And so I like the idea that he's basically just delving into the dangerous, like inside tunnel or interior tunnels of the place that oftentimes lead people to death, to try and find answers to this. And that he's found, obviously not the answer, but directions to the answer, right?
Okay, yeah. You found some sort of like long forgotten writing that like leads you into a certain maze of tunnels that might lead to something there. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Sure. Cool.
Cool.
And then get one data. So on your family playbook sheet, I
Okay.
will enter
Oh.
one data for you.
And actually, he's supposed to be implanted in the New Harmony
New
right
Harmony,
now. So
yeah.
it'd be cool if the answer came from there actually instead. Yeah.
Yeah.
In some way. Because that also brings in other characters, which is obviously the point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe there's some secret that the New Harmony has that, or you think there's some secret that the New Harmony has, right? That could lead to understanding a piece of Azimuth.
Right. Yeah. And what? Where do I put data? Is that like a...
I just went ahead and did it for you. It's
okay.
on the family playbooks. There's a space for data, so I just went ahead and did that for you.
And then, sorry to take up more time, but what exactly does data do mechanically again? Sorry.
Data mechanically for like families.
I think we talked about this, but
yeah. Here, let me actually pull up the. There's like a whole little list of like things that you can do with these resources.
Oh,
so,
okay.
You can spend data to uncover secrets with your family, or when characters use relevant knowledge to boost their rolls. So you can spend a data to like get advantage on a roll, and you can also spend it to reveal a new feature on the map to uncover secrets.
Oh, interesting. Okay, that's cool.
Yep.
All right.
It's basically just knowledge about stuff. So then the last thing we're gonna do is Connor, you're gonna roll a family move for the recollection, for their just like scene of the future. Let's see. I'm looking. Probably uncover secrets. When you gather your family specialists in council, you roll plus data spent, and then you can ask some questions. So you have. I don't think you do. You have any data? You know what? I'm gonna give you one data from the memories that you got. Right.
Okay.
As a mechanical thing you can spend here, so you can spend that one data if you want to, and you can get a +1.
Can I do a different roll instead?
What do you mean?
Do I have to do uncover secrets because that's what makes sense, quote unquote?
Yeah, because uncover secrets is like when you gather your family specialists in council and you like figure out secrets.
So I did that, and so I rolled.
So basically, you rolled to see what detrimental effect that would have on Iseret, and now the family has to roll to discover what they actually learned.
Okay.
Right.
Makes sense.
Basically, what the elders do with the memories that you get, because you're rolling as a family now. Basically.
Yeah.
Right.
Though, real quick, the heralds can also roll plus treaty to lend aid if you wanted to signify your memories being helped here. Hair Hell is like a more specific mechanical benefit. Because that's kind of what you were doing, right? Is like you were allowing them to look at your memories too, so that you roll plus whatever treaty you have with them. Yeah, technically, if you wanted to be like Harhel helped Iseret but didn't really open his mind to them, that's one thing you can do that if you want to.
Oh. Yeah, that makes more sense.
So you didn't actually help them with your memories?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. Then so technically I think the sway roll we did actually makes it so you have to have done that.
Yeah.
Because you got one treaty over them. So yeah, I think you have to roll this. Now that I'm thinking about it. But your treaty with them is 1 now. So you'd roll +1. So 2d6 +1. See how much of an advantage you give them.
I'm rolling that?
Yep. And if you succeed, you give them advantage on this roll that they're going to do next. Okay, so on a 7 and 9, you give them a fleeting advantage, but your family is exposed to any danger, retribution, or unforeseen consequences of their move.
Great.
So if there's a consequence that the recollection has, you will also share in that consequence.
But I still get advantage?
You get advantage, yep. So you're going to roll 3d6 plus 1, I assume you're spending that data?
Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
I don't see why I wouldn't.
Yeah. Okay. So it's a 10 altogether. Because you take the 2 highest. And that means so go to the family moves, Connor, and it's uncover
Yep.
secrets. On a hit, ask 1. For each answer, add an appropriate detail to the map. And on a 10 plus, ask a second question or add to the map one of those 3 below. So first, ask one of those questions.
I'm going to say, how can we make best use of the Tannerin / the other world dimension?
Yeah,
the
yeah,
knowledge
dimension,
of
how
it
can we
or
use
whatever.
it? Yeah,
Right.
yeah, okay. I
Don't
think the
use
answer
the
to that
ring,
question.
Frodo.
I was gonna say
Yeah.
that.
I think the answer to that question is if you can learn to control friend, then that's the way to do it. Like we can't control any of the other Tannerin, but there's a bond between you and friend. And I think whatever they saw in your memories, like we don't really know the details yet of what actually happened in the dimension. We can figure that out as we go. But something happened there where this Tannerin bonded with you and actually loves you, like likes you a lot, like and it like wants to protect you. And so if you can use that to your advantage, and control it somehow,
And maybe we can control all of them.
yeah, you can find the weakness, right?
Ooh, this is the end of the world as we know it.
I mean,
Okay.
And then it says for each answer, add an appropriate detail to the map. And I am trying to think of what we'd add to the map for that answer, if anything. Let's see. I'm not sure there is really a thing to add to the map for that. Unless you can think of something.
For what is this?
For the answer to how can we make the best use of the Tannerin? And the answer was by controlling friend.
Maybe there's a place on the map somewhere where your interactions with friend can become less ephemeral and more literal, and then you can actually speak and interact with them more, like a place that sort of anchors them
I
to
know where
reality.
that is. Well, technically there are
Where's
3
that?
different places that could be. So 2 of them would be when Josh puts his like 2 portals to the endless city on the map, right? Whatever his 2 places are that bleed into reality. Or the other place would be an earlier creation of the presence, fundamentally flawed and incredibly potent. The rift we saw from the beginning of the episode.
Mm-hmm.
So we could add a detail to that and be like, if you go here, you can, you can find out more about friend.
Sounds cool to me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, let's go to the barrier. I think that just makes more sense thematically because we opened up with that.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Friend.
Okay, so
can be used here.
I can ask a second question, or
So then, yeah, you look at.
I could add to the map.
Oh yeah.
I don't think I want to add to the map with one of those things. It just seems silly and petty.
You could have a place to shelter from harm.
Further recollection inside the city.
Yeah.
Nah.
Or you can ask a question. That's fine.
I mean, what I want to ask is, what's the truth behind the Tannerin?
But like, that's so broad. You have to be something more
Right.
specific.
That's
than
a question
right?
you ask in like 4 months.
Well, what's the truth behind the bond?
What's the truth behind the bond?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I guess what we see, right, is we get the flashback to that moment where you met friend for the first time. What happened?
I don't know. I don't know.
I mean, we can figure that out off screen and then come back with the answer. That's fine.
Okay. Yeah, let's do that. I should get going.
Yep, that makes sense. Awesome, cool. Well, that was great. That was a great start to the campaign. I liked it. Awesome. Yeah, I can't think of anything else we need to run through because there's not really like XP stuff that happens at the end because it's just like based on your rolls and stuff. Cool. And I guess, Harhel goes back to the Heralds or stays or something. Like, we'll find out where all the characters are going to be next time we zoom in on someplace.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
But probably like at least a week goes by as they kind of figure out the information and what they're going to do with it next. Okay, well, cool. That's been the Hellbreaker sequence. Thanks for playing, guys. That was a lot of fun.
Great.
And we'll hopefully be back next week. All right. Adios.